Happy Monday, everybody, wherever you are, however you may be listening. Thanks for making us part of your day. It's another beautiful, steamy day in Mesa, Arizona, as we enter monsoon season. So it's a little humid, a little sticky out there today. So if you're out in Mesa or Phoenix, bring an umbrella just for the shade. You're going to need it. And drink water. Lots and lots of water. Hope you guys all enjoyed the 4th of July. Hope you didn't burn anything down. If you were in Utah, I hope you didn't see any fireworks. Hope you didn't light off any fireworks. That was a big problem there. Toy Boy is back. He's back. Sorry, guys, I missed you last weekend. Or I guess, what was it, Thursday and Friday. Sorry about that. I had a sick child, and I had nowhere to take a sick child. And my sick child is an absolute diva. So that's what, sorry. I don't know what to do about that. She runs my entire life. Good morning, Jennifer.
Morning, sunshine.
Oh, nice of you to show up. Keep us waiting there.
Sorry, I was.
Yeah.
Had the other phone that I used for. The screen went dark, so it took me a second to open it back up. So yeah.
Well, good morning. I talked to you for the first time since I think maybe Friday, about 5 minutes ago. How was your 4th of July?
It was fine. This is the first. So Spawn had been in Utah the last two 4th of July. So this is the first year that her and I have hung out in a while. So
what'd you do?
We went over to you guys, anyone who says dumb shit like you, Mystic, I'm gonna mute the fuck out of you. I swear. It's all your fault.
If anybody can't see it because you're not on Twitch, somebody said, "What is HVAC like for breakfast besides you, Jen?" That's
swear to God. Anyways, so we went over to my brother-in-law's house. So
good.
Yeah, we went over there for barbecue.
And Jeffrey made the.
No.
No. He messaged me actually to say he was going to be in Arizona. He said this weekend. He's like, "Do you want to golf?" And I was like, "Do you mean like this weekend?" And he's like, "No, in like 3 or 4 weeks." I was like, first of all, there's no time when 3 to 4 weeks is this weekend. But I guess he was busy this weekend for the 4th.
Yeah. I mean, this weekend usually means the weekend ends up coming, but yeah.
Yeah, but he clearly had plans, so.
Well, that's a bummer for you, I guess.
Yeah, but good for you. OCD said, "Thanks for coming back on my birthday. Happy birthday, OCD. Appreciate you." It's rare that I get gifts on your birthday, but I appreciate that.
So yeah, so we just so I think this is the last the second year that I've gotten like a headache on the 4th of July. I think all the fireworks smoke gives me a headache.
I thought it was maybe being told to chill. I thought maybe that's what gave you that.
You're fucking annoying.
Come on, let's do this quick, fast, and in a hurry.
That's ew.
He's here too. Oh, what's up, Jeffrey? He's here too.
Is he?
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
But yeah.
Well, anything else new?
No, that's about it. I mean, that's about it. So.
All right. Well, I didn't do shit. So.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing. I did watch The Sopranos. I watched all of season 5 of The Sopranos. So that's got to count for something.
That sounds fun.
Thank you. Have you watched Sopranos?
I've seen parts of it. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've watched the whole thing, but I've seen.
I don't think I had finished it. I didn't know what is it? Steve Buscemi winds up in episode or season 5. They really brought in the star power. Like Lawrence Taylor's in an episode. They really started bringing in stars in season 5.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I've watched parts of it, but I didn't watch the whole series. So.
I think Sopranos does it helps you understand the current administration. Like you kind of get a better feel for, this is how they run things. They just run everything like mob bosses. So it's been very helpful in understanding Trump.
It helps with the the plot.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well,
we can get going.
all right. Do your thing.
That time. So, welcome everybody. We are on all three different platforms. If you're watching on TikTok, please like the live, like the stream. I put up some gift goals, so hopefully we don't get taken down. Helps if we're tapping, if we're gifting over there, if we can do that to make sure that we don't. I mean, we'll get flagged, I'm sure, for something, but hopefully we'll stay up.
I forgot. Real quick. Sorry, before this eludes me, I was watching Sopranos and I was like, well, "Who the fuck is this guy? Like, why do I recognize this guy?" And it's it's the guy from Newsies. That's my cigar. You're still another. Guy says he's got a hot tip. He needs 50 papes spotted. I forget his name, but he's in Sopranos as an adult. Didn't grow much, but is an adult. Sorry, go ahead.
That was a total squirrel moment if I've ever seen one.
Well, I was reading the chat and somebody brought up somebody else that was on Sopranos, and then I was like, oh yeah, I don't remember that guy's name, but he's there.
Awesome. So are have we been medicated today?
No. Well, I've taken my prescription medication. Yeah.
That's what I was asking.
Yep.
All right, just making sure. All right, so
feeling a little judged to start the morning.
Wow. I mean, that's what I do. So we've got our other gift goal, our regular gift goal, which you need to update on the screen.
Oh shit!
We need to hit each day Monday, since we do this Monday to Friday from 9:30 to 1. This is our job, and so how we keep the lights on, how we can keep doing this, is by knocking out that gift goal that Jay's correcting on the screen each day. If you're not a paid member or subscriber wherever you're watching, you should become one so you can join us for members only events. Is that the right amount?
It is. Yes.
Okay. Just making sure. Join us for members only events. We have one coming up this Wednesday. We'll be choosing what movie or what we're going to be watching here shortly. We've got a channel in the Discord for recommendations if you want to drop them in there. What's the channel called? The Member Movie Ideas. So if you're in Discord and you have an idea for movies, there's Member Movie Ideas if you want to drop recommendations. So you can join us for that. And then tonight's the game, you said?
Tonight, yeah, 5 p.m. Pacific time, we will be broadcasting or watching together the U.S. men's national team against Belgium in Discord.
You're going to be able to stream it. I'm not going to have to save the day again.
Yeah, I still can't figure out how that didn't work. It's crazy because I had to tell you how to do it, and somehow it worked on your computer. I literally had a brand new laptop. That was the first time I was using it, so maybe I needed to like update something. I don't know.
Maybe. But yeah, so we'll be streaming that in Discord, not part of the members event. So if you're just in Discord, you can join us to watch the game. If you guys disagree with RTP and want to have a conversation, how you can do that is you can send me a message on Discord. My Discord username is the same as the Venmo. So Jen with 2 N's, Deb with 2 B's, the number 1. Check out the link tree in the bio. We're on most social media platforms. We've got merch, Jay's on Cameo. We upload these episodes to Spotify. And you sent me a message that I didn't reply to. I think the text in the front needs to change. The style.
What?
Anyway, sorry. Remember, you sent me a picture of something, a shirt.
Nope.
A shirt.
Nope. Don't remember at all.
All right, cool.
I was probably doing stuff medicated. I sent it on, like, I texted to you.
You sent it to me on Discord.
Oh, okay. I'll look at that. Okay. I don't remember doing that. This is not good. Oh, yeah, that sucks. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, that's fine. That's not good. My hat says Mount Gay. It's a Devereaux local golf brand here in Arizona. My hat just says Mount Gay.
All right, so yeah, like I said, got the gift goal and you knocked that out on TikTok. Let's get the likes up to 20K. That'd be sweet. What do you call a glory hole at the police station?
I have no idea.
An anonymous tip.
That was one of your better ones. I also don't know what Mount Gay is. I know there's like I think it's a rum. I think it's maybe from Barbados. That's Mount Gay. I have no idea. A friend of mine owns this company, and I bought the hat because I wanted a white hat, and there we go. So don't ask me the meaning behind any of it. I have no idea. Can we name our commune Mount Gay? Yeah, absolutely. You can name it whatever we want. Glory Station. That's pretty good. I like that. All right, let's kick things off. Let me pull this up. I guess we might as well talk about Trump and the World Cup. But I also wanted to thank who sent me. Illusion sent me this today. Illusion chose the cartoon today. I like that one. Why is your white nationalist group marching in Washington? Because we got the day off from ICE, and that does make a lot of sense. But let's talk about what happened. So, if any of you don't know, our probably our best player, at least for sure our best goal scorer, Balogun, was suspended, got a red card after a video review. I don't really know like the ins and outs of video review. It was a bad foul. It was a dangerous foul. If you didn't have video review, he probably would have never got a yellow card or a red card. Probably deserved a yellow card. I looked at the rule. Looks like by definition, probably should have got a red card. But FIFA's corrupt. Trump is corrupt. I actually told my friends the other day. They messaged me, like I guess Portnoy was talking about it, and I was like, I wouldn't rule out Trump getting involved and getting this overturned. I think I said that to them on Friday, and sure enough, he got it. Not only did he get involved and it got overturned, he's actually taking credit for it, which normally Trump takes credit for shit he has nothing to do with. This one, I think, give him credit for it, I guess. Everybody else in the world is pissed, which I get. I would be pissed if I was Belgium. There's lots of players who get red cards that are undeserved, that never get overturned. It also seemed like a really fucking stupid red card. So whatever. It's FIFA. They're corrupt. We're the richest nation in the world. We're corrupt. It makes perfect sense that two corrupt organizations got together and overturned this rule. And also, just remember, Donald Trump got a made-up award from FIFA, like the FIFA Peace Prize, which isn't even. There's never been a thing. Probably won't ever be a thing again. They just gave it to him. But unfortunately, we had to have this introduced by Ted Cruz.
On behalf of all Americans, thank you for getting rid of that ridiculous red card.
None of these people have ever watched soccer before, fucking ever, by the way. It's not that ridiculous of a red card, honestly. It was he might not have done it on purpose, but it was pretty nasty.
This is his... That was interesting. It was spectacular. There was a reason the FIFA...
I'd like to also point out one thing, one more time, that is prevalent in all cults. This happened in the cult I grew up in. When the leader says anything that is even remotely human, everybody laughs, even when it's not funny. Here's another example of people laughing hysterically about stuff that's not funny just because Trump acted like a human for like 12 seconds.
All Americans, thank you for getting rid of that ridiculous red card. This is his... That was interesting. It was spectacular.
That was interesting. That's hilarious, dude. How did you come up with that joke so quick? Like, I don't know why everybody does this, but when you see cult leaders, you'll see people standing around laughing at absolutely nothing.
There was a reason the FIFA trophy sat here for as long as it did.
So I saw the play, and I'm a person that loves sports and was a good athlete. And
allegedly a good athlete.
I understand sports really well, really well. And that wasn't a foul. That wasn't even an infraction. That was two guys.
It was definitely a foul. It was definitely a foul. With his cleats, he stomped on the back like his Achilles. It was definitely 100% a foul and an infraction.
Is running full speed that happened to crash into each other. You can't take your foot and properly place it on somebody else's foot when you go.
I hate saying this. I was a former college soccer player. I was pretty good at this. If you are running full speed into someone's back, regardless if you meant to do it or not, it is a foul. It's always a foul. You can't just be like, it was an accident. I didn't see him. I ran it. That's a foul. You can't run full speed through someone's back and not get ball. It's absolutely a foul. I have no idea. Like, he clearly doesn't understand soccer. I don't know what his expertise is on any other sport, but soccer doesn't understand.
No, these were two great athletes that got tangled up, and this referee, who is a little bit suspect.
True.
If you check his past, I don't want to say that because
he's been investigated for like mysterious calls multiple times. He was accused of I don't know if it's like rigging games, but like He's been investigated. He does have a bit of a past.
They don't like to create controversy, but very suspect.
Yeah, yellow card's good. I would have been fine with the yellow card. I thought a red card was over the top.
If you'd like, I'll provide you with the past. He made a call that nobody could believe. You know, even people on the other side, they say, "Oh, we got lucky. Wow, that's." And it's very interesting. They say they don't show them in slow motion, and I never realized that. I never heard of that before. That they're not allowed to review in slow motion because it's so different. Because you'll take one little quarter of a second and you'll see that a hand is touching a neck.
I got news for you guys. He still doesn't understand this sport. He still doesn't understand replay. What do you mean? Of course you can do replay in slow motion.
You see something. Whereas when you see it in fast motion, it will look like two guys collided, which is really what happened. They got sort of entangled. He didn't do anything wrong. And he's our best player or one of our best players. A very
true. Also, ironic that this is happening on the same week that they're complaining about birthright citizenship. It's important to remember that Balogun, his mother was here. She was 7.5 months pregnant, and she was flying back home, and the airline said, you can't fly. You're too pregnant. So she stayed here. Balogun was born here. Balogun has never lived here. In fact, Balogun only got recruited to come play for the national team because he was so good when he was so young. They said, you'll probably be able to play with the United States before you'll be able to play with France. And here we are. But it's ironic that the very thing that they're claiming is unfair is also the person, the reason that this person is on our team. It's pretty crazy.
And he gave him a red card. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't think it meant much. Then I started hearing that
election day. I said, just find me 11,000 votes, guys. Come on. That's what he did to FIFA.
Means he can't play in the next game, at least in the next game. I said, boy, that's
no, just the next game. Just, you don't have to make it more than it is. That's how a red card works. He can't play in that game and then the next game, and then he can play after that. Not at least. It's just that's how he has no clue how soccer works.
Big. You know, if it happened to another player, it would have been unfair. But when they take your best player, or just about, they have some great players, and they say you can't play, that's very unfair. That's, it's one thing to pedal.
Yeah, it's kind of the rules, dude. It's kind of the rules. I one time I had to sit out a national championship game my freshman year because I got a red card, which was very stupid. I bumped into a guy and he flopped, and he said I punched him, and the ref is like, yeah, you did punch him. The ref didn't see it. I had to say that's just the rules. You have to sit out. If you get a red card during that game, you're out for the rest of the game, and your team has to play a man down. So there's 11 players on the field. You have to play with 10 the rest of that game. You can't sub that person in, and then the next game that person can't play, but you're back to 11, so you can play with 11 players. That's how red cards work. Red cards happen all the time.
Penalize somebody for the game, but how do you penalize them for a game that hasn't been played yet? It's very unfair. You can't do that. So, yes,
you can, and you do, and it's been a rule in soccer for as long as I'm aware of.
I asked for a review by FIFA. I spoke to a man who's highly respected, and by the way, whose
the rules like the Constitution he hates.
Level of respect has gone up tenfold, and he was good before this started, but. He really pushed it in this country. I'm the one that got them to do it. It was not Biden. Biden was.
I'd like to say FIFA is one of the most corrupt organizations on earth. And they're bad at what they do. It's just that the World Cup is so big that no matter how bad they try and fuck it up, they're never going to be able to fuck it up. Everybody, you guys have seen, as much as all of us hate this, most of us are probably going to watch the game today, and if Balogun scores, we're going to be like, fuck yeah. It's kind of a hard thing to do, admittedly. And I think maybe all of us are going to struggle with this a little bit today. I do think that it was I don't like the red card. I think that it's right that he gets to play. I fucking hate this guy. I fucking hate Dave Portnoy. I hate that they're getting credit for it. So it's but I've decided I'm just going to set that aside. And, they didn't do a goddamn thing. This motherfucker didn't do anything. Dave Portnoy didn't do anything. These players have worked their asses off. They're a really cohesive team. They seem to like each other. It seems to matter to them a lot that they're representing the United States. So I'm not gonna lose my enthusiasm because of this bloated bastard saying oh, there shouldn't be red cards. I didn't even know there were red cards. There probably shouldn't have been red cards. I'm still gonna root for him, but I understand those of you who are like, I can't. I can't root now. Do your best.
Sleep. I got him to do it. In fact, it was very.
What the fuck is Portnoy? Listen, this is another thing. I think Dave Portnoy should get credit for this. I guarantee you, Dave Portnoy called Trump, told him that this was stupid. Trump called whatever the FIFA, what was it, Gioni or whatever, and then probably threatened him or bribed him or something, and they got it. I honestly think this is one of those situations where both Dave Portnoy and Donald Trump are probably not lying. They probably are the reason that this got overruled. That sucks, but it's probably true.
Sad because I got him to do it. And if the progression was normal, I would have been
Infantino, thank you.
retired. Now, the Democrats are saying, man, we should have just let him have his way. We would have had him gone. But I said, the saddest thing is I got the Olympics and I got the World Cup. All I did, I asked for a review because I didn't think it was a foul. And, again, I'm good at this stuff.
Well, Swiss says they're going to lose anyways. Well, you've said that every game. So one of these times you're going to be right, but you're still going to have a losing record. And how dare you? However, Belgium is very good.
I didn't think it was a foul. I thought it was two great athletes that crashed into each other and got entangled. That was not a...
I love Trump. Thank you. You're welcome.
A guy punching somebody in the face or anything that, would be different. And I think it's a terrible... If they wouldn't allow...
Well, punching him in the face would probably be a less dangerous foul than what actually happened. Like, Balogun could have, destroyed that guy's ankle. Punching him in the face, he would have recovered.
A top player, maybe the best, maybe among the best players on the team to play, I think it would have had a big stain. And I related just that feel. I didn't tell him what to do. I can't tell him what to do. But and I don't believe he made the decision. I think it was a committee that made the decision. And they made the right decision because, number one, it wasn't a foul. And you want to see a game with your best players. You don't want to say, how would you feel if I took...
This? But I do think this is, for any of you MAGA folks here, and welcome, this is one of those times when, can you take a step back and pay attention to what Donald Trump is saying here? And just think, how easy this is for him to lie or to distort reality. It absolutely was a fucking foul. Absolutely was a fucking foul. He's saying that it's not. And now, compare this to the other things he said. He's always like, oh, that's not, that was, the election was stolen. It's not a crime. This is what he does. He just makes shit up. He just distorts reality for his own vision. It was everybody who watched it's like, yeah, that was a foul. It was absolutely a foul. You can't stomp on somebody's Achilles in soccer, unless they changed the rules since I last played. This guy's such a hater. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, of course I hate him. Are you out of your fuck? This guy's a fucking idiot. Of course I hate him. I welcomed you, by the way, but you can't admit that he's just saying shit's not a foul when it's obviously a foul. Let's talk to you for a second, Anna. Was it a foul or not? Absolutely a foul. But he's saying it's not. I just asked you to take a step back for a second. I can't do that. I can never say that Donald Trump lies. It will hurt me too deeply. Okay. Sorry, Anna. You're right. He tells the truth all the time.
We take Messi out. Look, he ran into somebody. Or we took Ronaldo. Ronaldo, you bunked into somebody.
I don't know what it is, but apparently Ronaldo was supposed to be suspended for 2 games, and they reversed that suspension. I don't know the details on that. I don't know if you guys do. I heard that this morning.
Take you out of a game. He's great. Well, Harry Kane, we're going to take you out of the game, Harry, because you happen to hit somebody a little.
Yeah, brother, man. I said it wasn't worth a diver down. I don't know if you just got here. I've literally said it was not a red card. Should not have been a red card. But Trump saying it wasn't a foul. Do you see how you guys do this? Trump says it's literally not a foul or an infraction. It is a foul or an infraction. You're like, he meant not a red card. Well, why can't he ever say what he meant? How come you guys always have to change the words that come out of his mouth for him to make sense? Do you ever take a second and just be like, that's weird? How come I always have to change his words in order for what he says to make sense?
A bit harder than...
Bro, shut up.
You can't do that. If you would have taken him out, I think it would have really stained this incredible champion. We got to have our best players, and Belgium's got a great team, by the way. We got to have our best players, and they have to have their best. And if we win or we lose, it's fair. Otherwise, let's say we lost him and we lose the game.
Dumb people aren't good with words. Give the poor Nepo baby a break. You're right, Mother Rabbit. I'm sorry. I apologize, Donald. It's not your fault. You're a dipshit.
It would be a terrible thing. So I think they made a really brilliant decision. I think the referee's call was horrible. And nobody talks about that. They talk about the red card like it's fine.
Yeah, literally every fucking person who has analyzed that game has talked about this. This is another thing Trump does. I'm the only one talking about this. Bitch, everybody has been talking about this. It's the only thing people have talked about when it comes to U.S. soccer for like a week. Every single person talked about this. I'm the only one who even brought this up.
Nobody talks. The referee's decision to red card. I didn't know what the hell a red card was. When I found out, I said, you got to.
He knows all about sports, but just found out about a red card. Now he has big, strong opinions. This is every white dude I've ever met, by the way. Just as every Nepo. I just heard about this now, and rather than further research, I'm going to establish a very one-sided opinion, and I will never back down from this opinion. Electric Dad said this turd has never played a sport at any professional level and just talks like he knows how it works. You don't even have to have played it at a professional level. If you're talking about soccer and you just found out about red cards, perhaps you're not the authority here. Electric Dad said, my wife looked it up yesterday. There's been 2 overturned red cards in World Cup history, and this is one of them. Hot damn.
Be kidding.
What am I lying about, Fuzzy Boy?
This guy just hands up. Okay, your best player is not going to play next week or
oh
in the next
yikes! I
game.
didn't even notice the person on the left. You're right. Yeah, said she freaks you out. Yikes, bikes. Who is that? She is terrifying.
I said, wow, that's a lot of power. That's terrible. But then I looked at his past, and it wasn't so great. Okay.
All right. We already saw that. He already said that. So there we go. Anyways, there's the credit. Pat describes the host so well. I'm not gay. But in all fairness to you, the only time you ever see me is on this live and when I'm fucking your dad. So it would make sense that you're like, oh, he's gay. And I understand. But I want you to know that I wore the hat to support a friend of mine who owns this company. And I fuck your dad for money. So, sorry. But welcome. It's good to have you here. Okay. This was an insane morning for Trump. He just like rolled out of bed and was like, I'm going to make shit up today. He was asked about crypto. Nobody has pardoned more crypto criminals than Donald Trump. No, there is no bigger crypto criminal than Donald Trump. I saw this the other day. He's made like $2.2 billion. And the people who have invested in his crypto have lost about $2.6 billion. So the way that this works, some people put money in and then some people sell. And the people who sell make the money. The people who put it in and it drops, they lose the money. So Donald Trump scammed people out of $2.6 billion, and he's made about $2.2 billion on that. So cool, guys. Cool. And now he's going to tell you that it was actually Joe Biden who was pardoning crypto people.
Against it, but he has no idea what crypto is. He had no idea. He didn't have a clue, but they were very violently against it. They were putting people in jail.
Correct. The Biden administration, who he's talking about, were putting crypto criminals in jail. It's true. It's what you should do when people commit financial crimes is put them in jail.
What they were doing to the crypto was horrible. It's amazing it survived that onslaught. It was a weaponization of government. So
putting people in jail for crimes is now weaponization of government. That's where we're at with Donald Trump at this point. Just anybody that the government puts in jail that he likes, that's just weaponization. You don't like Trump because he's a fascist. I don't like Trump because he's not fascist enough. We are not the same. Thank you, Dalton. We are not. That may be true. If you don't think he's fascist enough, and I don't like him because he's a fascist, that's true. That's cool, dude.
When I went very much for it, and I must have gotten, I think I got 100% of the vote. But what happened is, I think it was 100 million people. That's a big industry, and that means some pretty good things. But what happened is,
I don't know whether 100, maybe people that are invested, that can't be in the United States. It's also not an industry. It's just one big scam. It's just a Ponzi scheme.
Biden then, after he was getting killed, he was down so much, all of a sudden they became pro-crypto. And their head of the SEC was horrible, unlike Paul, who's really good. No, I mean, he's the best man for the job. Everybody wanted him. But he was horrible.
And dare somebody to tell me what Paul's last name is that everybody wanted.
was doing to the crypto. They were putting people in jail.
If Trump didn't believe in the law, why does he have such a good SCOTUS record? What the fuck is a SCOTUS record? What does that even mean? If Trump didn't believe in the law, what is a SCOTUS record?
Jail. Oh, you know that better than anybody. Good people, great, prestigious people. They were putting them in jail. And I said, you got to be kidding.
Yeah, you put prestigious criminals in jail. Yeah.
And they were trying to destroy.
Wins at SCOTUS? Well, I don't know. I don't even think I said he doesn't believe in the law. He just breaks the law all the time. He's a convicted felon. He's the only convicted felon president ever. He's the only civilly liable president held civilly liable for both financial and sexual crimes ever. Yeah, I don't. What are you talking about?
Well, yeah, but he has a winning percentage at SCOTUS.
Yeah, well, how'd that go with birthright citizenship? Remember when he just tried to overturn the Constitution with an executive order, something that no other president would try because everybody knows you can't overturn a constitutional amendment with an executive order?
Like he understands the law.
Destroy the industry. Okay, ready? So now I'm killing by.
Trump's lost more court cases than one. I don't know what his record is at SCOTUS. Does anybody have it?
And I'm winning by so much. And all of a sudden he becomes totally pro-crypto. They dropped all investigations of everybody. They allowed people to come out of jail.
I checked this. I fact-checked this. Biden did not release a single crypto criminal early and didn't pardon any of them. Trump has pardoned multiple crypto scammers. This is a weird thing where I feel like he forgot that he's the one that pardoned these people. I checked right before we went live. I was like, I got to double check this because I didn't remember Biden ever pardoning anybody for crypto crimes, and I was right.
All investigations of everybody. They allowed people to come out of jail, and every time I see a crypto guy where they
so putting them in jail was weaponization. Letting them out of jail meant that he didn't follow the law. This is incoherent.
An investigation. I said, you're lucky I'm president because I don't know if you know, the Biden administration became totally pro-crypto.
That never happened. Why do you guys just let him say this stuff? None of this happened. I don't know who these people are in the back. I don't know what reason they're there, but none of this happened.
Couple of months because they were getting killed. Because crypto has a tremendous audience.
How do you, bro? The host said I didn't know. I didn't know what? Yeah, there's a lot of things I didn't know. Is that a diss? Oh boy, the MAGA folks, you guys have run out of you've run out of anything clever to say. I remember the days when you guys were better at talking shit. To now it's just we love him. Stop saying the bad things about Trump. All right. Then he said this, which again also not true. I don't even know why he said this, but this is also not true.
It was announced about 2 days ago. The new numbers just came out. You know who the number one person in TikTok is by far? Trump. Me. I just got I'm number one. Like Taylor Swift was number 11. I'm number one.
I couldn't find any metric he's number one except for political accounts. And he's number one in political accounts, but Taylor Swift wouldn't be on that list. I looked. For followers, it goes, I don't even know most of these people. Cobby Lame, Charlie D'Amelio, Mr. Beast, TikTok's official account, Bella Porch, Addison Rae, Willie Salim, Zach King, Kimberly Loaiza, BTS, The Rock, Will Smith. Will Smith, Jesus Christ, how did Will Smith doing well? World Cup, yeah, it's on TikTok. Dominic Lipa, Billie Eilish, CZN Barack, Real Madrid, that's football, Macy Velia, FC Barcelona, Jason Derulo, Kylie Jenner, Selena Gomez, ESPN, Champions League, Eunice Zaro, Aliyev, Omar, Carol G, PSG, Hiroki Nakabayashi, I don't know who that is, Ria Richis, Dixie D'Amelio, there's 2 D'Amelios, that's great, good job guys. Homa, don't know who that is. He's not even on this list. I Show Speed, Rose, Lauren Gray, Netflix, Blackpink, Brent Rivera, Christina Collins, Michael Lee, Barstool Sports, Shakira, Lamine Yamal, Carlos Fira, Brooke Monk, Niana Guerrero, John Siwa, Fernando Villalobos. He's not on this list. I don't know where that even came from. He just says shit now. These are nobody. Good Lord, what is going on with this lady?
TikTok by far. It was announced.
Yikes! Bikes.
I'm number
Look
one.
at her face. That is a
like Taylor Swift,
straight up zombie.
I'm number
Did
one.
you mean JoJo Siwa?
I don't know. No idea. I didn't know any of those names. What did I say?
I think you said John Siwa.
I was making a joke. Like it was like
Sure.
John Cena.
No, it's JoJo Siwa.
Well, no, I read it first and then I said, is that like, because I think it said Joe Siwa.
Uh-huh.
The list I had, what do you mean, uh-huh? I'll show you the fucking list. How dare you?
Just had to call that out.
Oh, it does say JoJo. I just read Joe Siwa. You're right. Never mind. I apologize. Can we go back to this zombie lady, though? What's
like
going
Taylor
on with
Swift
her?
was number 11. I'm number one in TikTok by far. It was announced.
Yikes. Anyways, no appearance shaming. Listen, you can shame somebody for, you can. Maybe I shouldn't, but
About
she
2 days ago,
terrifies
the
me.
new numbers just came out. You know who the number one person in TikTok is by far? Trump. Me. I just got they
I don't know. I guess the lady with the printer is just making shit up now. She printed out like TikTok rankings. Donald Trump number 1. Where's Taylor Swift? 11. Haha. By the way, didn't she get married this weekend? Congratulations to Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift for the nuptials. That's great. All right. Here's something underreported that I was unaware of. We've seen a lot of really douchebaggy and gaudy renovations in Washington, D.C., and many of us have been wondering where that money came from. Now we know. Chrissy says the lady in the back gives uncanny valley vibes. She gives Jesse's hotel alibi vibes to me. You guys can, if you're Breaking Bad fans, you know exactly who I'm talking about. That's the vibe I'm getting, though. All right. Here's where the money's coming from. By the way, and he did say TikTok. Just a reminder, we are crowdfunded. We don't get much ad revenue, almost none. We don't have sponsors here, so we rely wholly on the generosity of our viewers to fund this show. We do have a gift goal each and every day, and if you can help us knock that out, that'd be great. PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, and Super Chats are the way to go over there. And on TikTok, of course, gifting, and that's how we keep our live up on TikTok. So thank you guys in advance. TikTok's not giving me an updated number there on the gifts, so I apologize. Sometimes with Streamlabs, it just doesn't come in. But back to where are we getting all of this money to put up Trump's gaudy decorations in Washington, D.C.?
Shenandoah National Park is a gem of Virginia's Blue Ridge Mountains. With 500 miles of trails and views, it draws nearly 2 million visitors every year.
These are the nation's crown jewels.
What do you think it is about national parks that brings people together?
I mean, it's America's greatest idea, right?
Jim Shabril, who recently retired from the Park Service, and Jessica Cochalone, who leads the Shenandoah National Park Trust, say these crown jewels are at risk of losing their shine. Some historic buildings in the park are falling apart, some trails eroding. Shenandoah is just one of 400 sites managed by the National Park Service facing a maintenance backlog, estimated at more than $24 billion. But the money aimed for repairs is being diverted. The Washington Post reports the Trump administration has used at least $90 million from national park entry fees to help pay for beautification efforts in the nation's county.
I mean, call me crazy. I'd rather the national parks get the money. I'd rather those be protected. I don't need an arch. I don't need a busted up reflecting pool. I don't need statues everywhere. I don't need everything in the White House to be painted gold. Can we just take care of like our natural resources and the beauty of this country? It's not, this is number 4 trillion on the list of gross dumb shit Trump does, but this one is frustrating. Like, do you have to ruin everything? Could you just ruin politics? Could you just ruin the economy? And not have to, do you have to ruin everything? Do you have to ruin the national parks too?
Ahead of the America 250 celebration.
And Washington, D.C. is now a safe and beautiful place. And it's only going to get more beautiful.
Yeah, godification. I like that, godification. not beautification. Thank you, Stacey.
Broken fountains are now flowing again. Statues painted with gold leaf. New blue paint in the reflecting pool peeled after a controversial no-bid contract. The West Wing colonnade repaved in granite, according to The Atlantic. Even fireworks for the 4th, reportedly paid for by money intended for repairs.
What's happening right now is that budget is being hijacked.
Ed Sturley is with the National Parks Conservation Association.
Why shouldn't D.C. benefit?
I think it shouldn't be a choice. I mean, what we want to see is funding for all of our national parks.
In President Trump's first term, Congress approved $6.5 billion to repair parks and public lands, but that funding ran out last year.
Deferred maintenance.
How about you stop giving money to illegals? Can we talk about this, Richie? Can we talk about what's on the screen right now, Richie? We can talk about immigration later if you want to, but can we talk about this right now? Or do you guys not engage when Donald Trump is wasting money?
We don't engage in that. We only talk about the liberals. When Donald Trump does something, it's as if God did it.
Only lasts so long before nature takes over.
All the structures in this park are historical, so if you don't maintain them, that history goes away.
A part of history they hope will live on. Caitlin Huey-Burns, CBS News, Shenandoah National Park.
I'm just saying, like, that's so much more beautiful, like, than DC. I don't need all this shit in DC. Trump's treating our country like it's a tacky resort. If you've ever stayed at a Trump property, they're tacky, they're resorty, they're gold leaf, but it's like fake gold everywhere. It's not. It's outdated. It's tacky. I don't know why he wants our capital to look so fucking stupid, but he's obsessed with doing this. But maybe he was just paving the way for his white nationalist friends to come visit the Capitol. This was on State of the Union. Doug Burgum, who's the Interior Secretary, had the unique opportunity to go out and try and defend Patriot Front. Now, the reason I want to show this is I think most of you, except for the guy who said Trump's not fascist enough, probably don't like Patriot Front. The entirety of the party has spent the last 2 weeks telling you that Democratic Socialists are actually communists and that they're enemies to the country and that they're here to destroy our country and that they are not American, they will never be American, and disavowing all Democratic Socialists as communists. It's very easy for them to lie about people and then disavow those people. But when you bring up real white nationalists and ask them to disavow, suddenly they get cold feet like Doug Burgum here. It shouldn't be fucking hard. It should not be hard at all to say, those are white nationalists. We don't want to be associated with them. We condemn their activity, but they can't. And we've said this a million times. The reason the condemnations of these groups are always wishy-washy is because Republicans, like it or not, you need these people to win elections. You can't win elections without the racists. You can't do it. There's too many of them in your party. So you have to cater to the racists in order to win elections. And you're going to see Doug Burgum do that exact thing here.
Several hundred masked men belonging to the white nationalist group, the Patriot Front, marched with Confederate flags. And they did it through neighborhoods in the U.S. Capitol, at least near the Capitol. And they chanted, "Reclaim America." There's a widely circulated photograph, I'm sure you've seen it, taken by Reuters, of an African-American woman on a subway surrounded by people.
I like to talk about two things about this picture. Number one, obviously for this woman, that is terrifying. Number two, not going to do shit. They're just racist bitches. They're all pussies. They're just racist. And they put on masks because they're pussies. I hope she is safe. I hope so too. That'd be incredible to be sitting there and just can you imagine? You think this is a good look for America? Some of those Patriot Front guys were doughy as fuck. Yeah, some of them are ice, probably. I'd hope that you MAGA that are here, I would hope that you'd be like, yeah, we don't want to associate with them. But why can't Doug Burgum just wholesale, let's go Trump? Thanks, Ed. Let's go. Ed, we're showing white nationalists, and you said, let's go Trump. That's not helpful. That's not useful for your argument that he's not a racist.
Members of this group. Are you concerned about this?
Well, I think
Richie, we are talking about Patriot Front right now, and you're talking about undocumented immigrants again. Please, for the love of God, stay on subject.
obviously, when we're celebrating America, we've had an incredible celebration, and this is a kickoff of a celebration year. But we know from our very founding that this was something that divided our nation. 85 years after those brave patriots signed the Declaration of Independence, we fought in the bloodiest war America's ever fought, the Civil War, and it's, our nation survived thanks to the courage and leadership of Abraham Lincoln, and led us on our way. As we continue to move forward as a country, we can be an exceptional nation because our ideals are.
Were these the ones funded by FBI or SPLC? No. And SPLC and FBI didn't fund any of these groups. They paid people to be informants against these groups. It is remarkable how stupid you all have become. It is remarkable how easy it is to lie to you and then to have you go on the internet and repeat the dumbest fucking lies. That's like, you have to go out of your way to not know what Southern Poverty Law Center did. Like, honestly, you have to just purposely not understand this. And that's a weird way to live your life. And for the record, I don't have respect for you if you live your life that way. And I don't think anybody else should really respect you either. That's a crazy conclusion to draw. Every bit of evidence says they paid informants, and you're like, they funded them. You literally have to go out of your way. These people are marching with your party, and you're like, but what about even if Southern Poverty Law Center did fund them, let's just say that they did. I'm sorry. Are they the left of this country? Are they a political organization? Are they the Democratic Socialists? Are they the Democrats? Are they the progressives? Are they the liberals? No, they're a law center. And it's ironic that you guys even do this too, where you're like, the Southern Poverty Law Center is a left-leaning group. Why? Well, they bring lawsuits against racists. Yeah. Isn't that weird how you guys just associate anti-racism with the left? We're not racist, but all these anti-racist groups hate us and we hate them. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. You have the racists in your party. Let's go, Trump. Thanks, Ed. We're talking about the racists again, and Ed's like, every time I hear about racists, I love Trump even more.
Exceptional, that all men are created equal.
Do you condemn this group and what they were doing, and most
yes.
importantly, what they stand for?
Yes.
Well, I think that certainly is what they stand for is nothing that I could possibly agree with, but one of the foundational principles of the United States, which makes democracy messy, is free speech.
Interesting. You guys are very quick to condemn socialists, democratic socialists, and communists. You're very quick to try and shut down the speech of people who are pro-Palestine or anti-Israel. But when it's white nationalists, you're like, oh, well, I disagree with them, but certainly they have free speech. We're not going to do anything to squash their free speech. We only do that for people who advocate for Palestinians or people who are democratic socialists. Not for white nationalists. They deserve their free speech. Denying the SPLC is left-wing as well. I'm not denying that they're left-wing. I'm saying they're not a political organization. They are on the left. And you guys correctly identify that they're on the left because of what they do. What they do is they sue racists. They're anti-racist. And you're like, yeah, they're lefts. They're on the left. Yeah, and who are the racists? So that means the racists are on the, because if you're saying they're political, right? If they're a left-leaning organization, they're obviously going after the right. Who do they go after? Racists, right? So that's you. You guys, you're the racists, and they're the anti-racists. Just like you hate Antifa. Well, anti-fascists are anti-fascists. So if you're their enemy, then you are the fascist, right? If you look at the last super chat that we got here, you don't like Trump because he's a fascist. I don't like Trump because he's not fascist enough. We are not the same. You guys love fascism. Some of you just don't like the word, but like the application of fascism, you're like, I really like this. This is really great. We don't have to think for ourselves. Just Donald Trump does stuff, and then we just wholesale agree with it. And he strips the rights away. He tries to strip the rights away from other people, and we love that. But we're not fascist. We all rally around one leader. He is dear leader, but not fascist.
And there are plenty of things that I see that I might personally find offensive, irreprehensible. But in America, free speech is allowed, and this is by the whole spectrum of things. I mean, we're a country where someone can run and be elected saying that they're a communist.
Do you, as Interior Secretary?
Yeah, and you guys trash them for calling them communists all the time. What's worse, a communist or a racist? Communist, for some reason.
Recommend to the president that he condemn this group and what they were trying to message, what they did try to message here in Washington?
Well, there have been, Dan, a part of my response to that is that there are protests on the mall that people say things that I think are irreprehensible about President Trump.
Why does he keep saying Why does he keep saying irreprehensible? Reprehensible.
They're allowed to go on because of free speech in our country. And so this is something, but you've seen President Trump. I was with him in North Dakota. I was with him in Mount Rushmore. I was with him last
night. White nationalism.
Like irreprehensible, it is a word, but it means like you don't get any blame. Like that you can't be held accountable for your actions or your words. That's what irreprehensible means. Reprehensible is the word he's supposed to use there.
It's, as you said, a part of America's history that still has...
Please look to history on the socialist. Are there any examples you can give me? Examples of what?
Pockets, but the fact that they were here in Washington on such an important day, I do want to move on.
But I do think, again, I mean, there are people that are saying death to Israel and death to America. I mean, this is part of free speech.
Yeah, and you guys arrested them. And you tried to shut down their protests when people were saying death to Israel. And you called them anti-American, and you said that was hate speech, right? Which is fine, irregardless of that. That's right, correct. Kim says, I'm supposed to be packing, but I have executive dysfunction from anxiety. So I'm watching you and eating Cheetos. Love you all. Chrissy said, the lady in the back. Oh, I read that one. Uncanny Valley vibes. All right, so I don't know why it's always so hard for you guys to, well, I do know. You can't go after racists and you can't condemn them because you need them. And some of you are them, either knowingly or unknowingly. Actually, I'm going to skip this video because I want to get into more stuff. Fuck Patriot Front. I don't know why you guys have such a hard-on for these groups, but there you go. Caroline Levitt went on with Jesse Waters for the American Unattended Carnival or the State Fair. And Caroline Levitt, fresh off a new baby. Congratulations, Caroline Levitt, on your new baby. And looks like Jesus got added to the cross there. Is that Jesus on the cross there? She's added a body there. And now she's coming back with her prepared talking points. And for people who are slow to condemn Patriot Front, they're going to go after the communists. Who, by the way, name one communist, MAGA, that's here. Name one communist running for office. Just one.
Candidates running for the modern day Democrat Party. This is not your granddaddy's Democrat Party. This is not the Democrat Party of JFK. This is a full.
I can compliment and then talk crap. No, I was legitimately. I think when people have kids, that's great. And then I'm going to talk shit about Caroline Levitt because she's a fucking idiot. Yeah, I can do both. I can be happy that she had a child, and then I can make fun of her. Yeah.
Full-blown communist revolution that is taking over Capitol Hill right here in Washington.
We have a full-blown communist revolution taking place on Capitol Hill with 0 communists. Where are they, Caroline? Where are these communists that are doing this revolution? They lie through whitened teeth so easily.
DC, just a few steps away from where we are sitting right now. The inmates are running the asylum. These are crazy people who are advocating against what I call the 3 Ps: prison, police, and private property. They don't want any
private prisons, corrupt police, and I guess the overconsumption by the wealthy of private property is what. But again, none of them are communists.
of those things, and those are the ideals that founded this great country 250 years.
Those are, of course, founded in the preamble of the Constitution. The 3 Ps: police, prison, and private property. Very prevalent in our founding documents. Police, prisons, and private property. Those are the principles that we were founded upon, for sure. They just make shit up. That is 4 Ps. That's a good point there. There are 4 Ps there. Yeah. None of those words are in the preamble.
Ago, but as President Trump says, communism is easy to sell. You just promise people free stuff. Until a few years, you're living in squalor with no free home, no free food. You're just sitting there with a whole bunch of communists looking around and saying, what the heck happened?
Yeah, that's a cool story that's never happened anywhere ever. Donald Trump said it best when he made up this story about communism. We all totally believe it. Now I'm here with Jesse Waters, who's got his collar open a little bit, letting the man meat hang out. Yeah, this is crazy. What the fuck? Is this what your party has? This is what you guys are running on? Communism bad? Good luck. Don't you get a free home through marriage?
Our failed state.
And the president said he'd be a
Dolphin said, so condemn and call us violent for peaceful protests, yet won't condemn them. Fuck Donald Trump. In all fairness, their protest was peaceful too, but you should be able to condemn white nationalists. That should be easy.
great communist. He'd give everything away for free.
It's an easy sale to make.
But he said communism, this new strain, it's the biggest threat the country in 250 years has ever faced. I mean, that's a powerful statement.
And he's 100% right about that, because if you look at these candidates, they are becoming mainstream in the modern day Democrat Party. You
I like, who said that? Who was talking about posterity? Let me look at this. The preamble says we do all these things for our posterity, not Somali migrants, since you want to quote the Constitution. Yeah, dummy. Who were the people that said we do this for ourselves and our posterity? Immigrants. People from another country. Yeah. What are you talking about? Yeah, I'm sorry, didn't specifically mention Somalis. Who came to America? You think it was just like the people that founded America and then they just all had children? Who do you think all of these people were? What are you talking about? Ask him to define posterity. It said posterity. It also didn't say like French or German immigrants. Didn't say English immigrants. Didn't say Irish immigrants. Didn't say Norwegian immigrants. It didn't say any of it. It didn't specify any of them. It just said to ourselves and our posterity. A lot of their posterity probably lived in other countries at the time.
mentioned Chuck Schumer is worried about his leadership position. He should be, because if he was in a primary in New York State against Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is a socialist and probably commie-curious, as you pointed out.
She's a democratic socialist. Commie-curious. This is crazy. This works on you guys? Honestly, Maggot, does this work on you? This one... Commie-curious? Does it honestly work on you? You don't want to hear anything that they have to offer? Things are going so fucking well that this is what you're running on now? It seems like if things were going well, you wouldn't run on, watch out for the communists.
He would get wiped out, and he's the leader of the Democrat Party. Hakeem Jeffries is afraid of these candidates running because they are going to take over the Democrat Party.
Yeah, that's correct. Melania Trump's dad was a registered communist and is an American due to chain migration. I was unaware of that.
So the way that we stop this communist revolution in its tracks is for great Americans across the country who love America, who are celebrating her in 250 years of our great nation this week, to vote against this communist revolution, vote against the Democrats. There's only one choice. It's President Trump. It's the Republican Party.
No, there is no choice for President Trump, actually. He's not running in the midterms. He's not supposed to run any other time. This is how fascist and cult-like your party has become. There is only one choice. Vote for Donald Trump. The one person you legitimately cannot vote for. You can't vote for him in the midterms, and you can't vote for him in the next election. And you guys are so ideologically captured and so captured by the cult that you don't have any ideas. You just have communism bad. The only savior is Donald Trump.
And it's common sense. That's what this is about. Communism versus common sense.
That's a good way to frame it. If it doesn't go that way, if these commies get in, they're going to be a powerful little caucus.
Yeah.
They're going to hear
I mean, they'll be democratic socialists, but we can let that be.
Things up. They're not here to negotiate Pentagon funding. They want zero Pentagon funding. They're in here to destroy the country. How would the president negotiate?
They just want to give you health care, guys. They just think you should have health care and that your housing should be more affordable and that you should share in the means of production. That's it. They just want you to be more taken care of. They just think the country should help you a little more. Like, we don't need no help. We need to give all of our money to Elon. This is really what they're going to run on? This is what you guys proud of this? Where's who was that guy that was talking? Was it Ricky or something? Richie? You happy with this?
With people like that.
I'm not sure you can, and I think that's why the president is being so bold.
That's a good point. I don't know if any of them want zero Pentagon funding. I haven't heard that, but certainly less Pentagon spending would be nice.
Warning the American public against this communist takeover of the Democrats. And as Ronald Reagan perfectly stated, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. If these communists are given a chance at power here in Washington, D.C., if they retake the majority in Washington away from the Republicans, we will be heading down a communist takeover. Ask the people of Cuba how that worked out for them. They are begging to come here right now.
Some of these kids, and
It's so stupid. How are you guys falling for this? How does this work on you? I don't get it. How are they allowed to do this on Fox News? Yeah, she's making some good points.
call them kids because they're in their 20s.
Yeah.
And they've never had real jobs and they're complaining things are expensive. Yes, things are expensive when you
All Trump's parents were born to immigrants, so there's that.
don't have a real job.
That's right.
Do you think that's getting traction, complaining?
Unfortunately, I do, because this generation, my generation, I hate to say it, Gen Z and those younger than me have been raised with just silver spoons in their mouth, just getting everything handed to them. That's not the values this country was built on. It was built on meritocracy and hard work, pulling up your sleeves, pulling yourself up from your boots.
Meritocracy and hard work, says Caroline Levitt. Let's look at her work history, should we? We wouldn't. She's obviously pulled herself up by her bootstraps. She was born in New Hampshire. Her parents, Bob and Aaron Levitt, owned an ice cream stand in Atkinson. Her father owned a used truck dealership. Looks like she did okay. Went to a private Catholic school. Then she went to St. Anselm College, a private school. She received a softball scholarship. And then she obviously worked really hard. Her first job was a full-time job in the White House Office of Presidential Correspondence. Then she was the associate director, then assistant White House press secretary, and then attended an event at the White House Rose Garden. Got COVID, I guess. Became the communications director for Elise Stefanik. Literally born with a silver spoon in her mouth. Never had a job outside of politics, and she's going to lecture us on pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps.
Been raised with just silver spoons in their mouth, just getting.
So you believe everything on Google?
Those are links, bud. You see how this works? That's the true story of Caroline Levitt. Did you think she was she ran like a Fortune 500 company? Do you think she started a business herself? Is there any reason for you? And by the way, that was Wikipedia, not Google. Do you have anything to add here that we should know about Caroline Levitt? What am I leaving out here? Where's the part where she pulled herself up by her bootstraps? She got a face job to look like Trump's daughter, and boom, hired.
Everything handed to them. That's not the values.
Then didn't she marry a guy like 40 years older than her, who's super rich? Yeah. He sure has worked hard.
This country was built on. It was built on meritocracy and hard work, pulling up your sleeves, pulling yourself up.
I'm sorry, but the richest people in this country for decades were slave owners. They owned plantations. That's not meritocracy. That's not doing the work yourself. Generational wealth throughout the South was basically owning people as slaves, using their labor, sitting on your fat ass and getting rich.
From your bootstraps and achieving the American dream, and we need to protect it with all we got.
Is it laziness?
A little bit.
Is it because the professor said the country's corrupt, it's evil, and we just need to shake them down and hand money out?
It's laziness and it's the liberal indoctrination. You bring up a great point.
Everybody she's talking about, like these people that she's talking about, went to school, got advanced degrees, and then came out of school. Some of them worked in the private sector. Some of them went directly into politics. They're describing what she did, literally exactly what she did. The only difference is she bootlicks for rich people. It's the only difference between the two of them. And she didn't win political office. She couldn't win political office. She's not popular enough and doesn't have good enough ideas. But yeah, she's literally talking about Her resume. IMFRCD said the average age of enlistment in the U.S. military is 20 to 22. I don't know why that came up, but I like that. Melanie said you should read the grievances of the kings that were in the Declaration of Independence. Trump is doing practically every one of the original grievances that caused us to break from England. We should do that tomorrow. That's a good idea.
About our education system. However, I will say a silver lining, so many parents that I talk to across the country are homeschooling, are turning to private education, are turning towards Christian schools across the country because they don't want their children being taught these communist and liberal ideas slammed down their throat. It's why
They want to be able to indoctrinate their kids through Christianity. They don't want them to learn about other ideas. I don't know why like communism or socialism is anti-Christian for whatever reason, but yeah, she's like, now wealthy parents are pulling their kids out of school to make sure they teach them about Jesus and don't teach them about communism or socialism. That way they'll listen to shit like we say, and they'll just believe it rather than knowing what it really means. Cool.
President Trump in the White House has advocated so strongly for school choice across the country. We want kids to be taught to love our country. They should. It is the greatest country in the history of the world.
All right, I say,
What about running for office makes any of you think that these people running for office don't care about the country? They want to change the country for what reason? They want to. This is a weird thing. Like I legitimately believe that people run for office for one of two reasons: either they want change or they want personal power. Sometimes it's both. Can you just explain? Is there anybody here that can explain to me what it is that makes you nervous about the Democratic Socialists? Like, which of their ideas makes you nervous that it's going to destroy our country? Because Marx was a Satanist early on in his life. Who cares? I don't care. I don't care about deity. I do not care what God or lack of God you believe in. I don't care if you believe in Satan, in Jesus. Who cares? Honestly, that's not a deal breaker for me. I don't care if somebody's a Satanist. I really don't. They like the made up bad guy. Okay. Sharia law, of course. Yeah, that's right, Sully. I'm asking. Can you give me an example of something they're afraid of? Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, that's stupid. They're not Marxists. They're democratic socialists. It's like me saying, why don't you like Domino's pizza? And you're like, well, because fucking Pizza Hut sucks. All right. Well, they're different things. Please enlighten us about the forgiven PPP loans. What are you talking about? Can you just tell me what you're upset about? Vote means nothing. Democrats, Republicans are not for the people with corruption. Shut up. No, we don't need fence sitters here. Your vote doesn't matter. Everybody's corrupt. All right, take off then. We're going to talk about ideas here. It's the same thing? How is it the same thing, Jacob? Marx invented socialism. Yeah, could you? I would say you guys should read, but I know you're not going to read. You don't invent socialism. So if Marx is a Satanist, then you can't like socialism. But how come socialism sounds so much like Jesus then? Is that the trick? Like they made Jesus sound like a socialist so that you would be a capitalist? Like what's the guy's name? The French guy that is called the father of socialism. It wasn't Marx. It's silly. What is his name? And even then, like nobody invented socialism, but it's Henry de Saint-Simon. Or a lot of people credit like the early ideas from Robert Owen or Charles Fourier. Like Marx came later. Marx came much, much later. Like these were early 19th century ideas. Marx was much, much later. So do you see the problem that we have here is that the reason you don't seem to know what socialism is. Your entire objection to it is that Karl Marx was a Satanist early on, but he didn't invent socialism. So you're just like, all right. And thank you, Noodle Poodle Girl. Marxism is literally just a critique of capitalism. It's basically showing how like the response to capitalism, and especially where we're at now, late stage capitalism, is going to be socialism. And guess what? Looks like he's fucking right, doesn't it? Looks like he knew what he was talking about. Because all of a sudden you have this seemingly out of nowhere, this democratic socialist movement in our country. Seems like he might have been right there. The last time we had this level of wealth inequality, what was the response from this country? It was more socialism. And for like 50 years. Every time capitalism goes to this extreme, the response is always socialism. And there's just a bunch of people in this country like, we'll never be socialist. What the fuck are you like? The stuff that the stuff that you're worried about now, we've already done this before. We've already had socialist takeovers, and all it meant is that Americans were more protected, workers' rights were more protected, wealth was more equally distributed, the laws made more sense, people could collectively bargain more, and then eventually the capitalists whittled away at that, and we're like, let's make sure that the money all flows straight up to the richest among us. Imagine seeing a bunch of billionaire pedophile supervillains thinking, yep, that's the side I want to be on. That's right. That's where Jesus wants me. He wants me to be with the capitalists. Jesus loved capitalism. He was so pumped on capitalism. He never got mad about people hoarding money, which is so cool. That's what I loved about Jesus. Robert Reich has a great video on the Founding Fathers. Natalie, will you send that to me on Discord? I'll check that out. All right. I think it's about it.
Misbehave, just make all these young kids join the army, right?
Yeah, I'll just hate, bro. No, we don't hate. We're having a conversation, and I feel like maybe you don't understand what we're saying. We don't hate you. We want you to use words correctly.
Shape them up. I almost had to.
Send them to Cuba. Send them to Iran. They'll want to come back real quick.
That's a good point. They can say hi to the gay Ayatollah.
Remember when Iran had democracy, and then we overthrew democracy in Iran? Remember that? These are two people who are poorly educated, which is par for the course for Republicans. I don't learn anything. I just repeat stuff. This is great news. This is great news for everybody. I can't believe that he did this. Chris Wright, the energy secretary, decided to send out this patriotic message on the 4th of July.
I'm thrilled to report that after 35 years, on July 4th, we will end the subsidies for wind and solar thanks to the Working Families Tax Cut. Wind and solar.
We finally did it. We got rid of clean, cheap, renewable energy. We're no longer going to help your energy prices go down.
Take a lot of land, 100 times more land for a similar amount of energy. They take an enormous amount of...
I know more about Elon Musk than you do, Michael. You can come up and debate with me about it, but Elon Musk is a net drain on the economy. Elon Musk is a dog shit businessman and wouldn't be nowhere without government assistance. He's bankrupt. He literally is bankrupt multi-million-dollar companies that were entirely funded by the government. He couldn't even make that work. Elon Musk is dog shit at business. He's just good at hype trains. He's not a net benefit to the United States. That's silly.
Materials, energy-intensive materials like steel and cement and polysilicon. They take an enormous amount of additional transmission lines to connect their large land, far-flung production back to where there's demand centers. And
well, thank God oil doesn't take any transportation or expensive equipment. Thank God coal doesn't take expensive transportation or equipment. Thank God fracking is cheap and free and renewable. How is this your party? How is this honestly what we're doing? 4th of July, they're like, guys, we're gonna do something special for you. We're gonna make sure the energy prices keep going up and that the air and water is more dirty. And you're like, fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
What do we get for all that is a relatively small amount of low...
Twitter. Enlighten me what the people at Twitter did because they got rid of them and Twitter ran just fine. Elon Musk bought Twitter for $40-something billion and it's worth half of that now. It did not run just fine. It fell the fuck apart. They stopped making money. It's dog shit. It's a white nationalist shit posting website that is worth half of what Elon Musk paid for it because he's so bad. In what scenario is taking a company and cutting its value and revenue in half a win? It's a win if you like Elon. Yeah, less than half. Thank you. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Imagine defending Twitter. You did great with Twitter. Yeah? Is that why they lost half their value, more than half of their value, and they're bleeding money now? Is that why they had to tie up Twitter stock into SpaceX's stock to get money back for these investors who believed in Elon, who got fucked in the ass? And they're like, don't worry, there's a bunch of dipshits like Michael in here that are going to go and invest in the SpaceX IPO, and then you guys can sell your stocks and you'll get your money back from the dipshits who invest in everything Elon touches. Cool.
Low value energy. It's low value because the wind.
No, I don't like your opinion because it's stupid, and you're not. And it's just an opinion, and it's dumb. Like, you're not backing it up with any facts whatsoever. You're calling Elon Musk successful for cutting the value of a company in half.
Doesn't always blow, and the sun doesn't always shine, so they drive up the system costs and increase Americans' electricity prices. Enough of raising electricity prices.
Solar and wind reduce electricity prices, says every study ever.
We're going to drive them down. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, bud. Appreciate the higher energy costs. Congratulations, Republicans. That's what you voted for. We want more expensive energy, and the air and water needs to be more dirty, because that's America, baby. This was crazy. This is Representative Jared Huffman, and this has been reported by a bunch of people, but you may be surprised. And MAGA, stick around for this. You might be surprised to know that America's 250 was just a grift. It was just a way for Trump donors to make a bunch of money, and perhaps the Trumps to make a bunch of money, and they did so pretending that it was all about America. Amy said, with Trump forcing companies to give him and or the government parts of their... Oh, what is Trump forcing companies to give him and or government parts of their companies called? I don't know. There's a word for it. Marx liked it. I don't know. It's something like, you know how China's communist? And everybody calls China communist because they take ownership of companies, and now Trump's doing that. It's not communism when Trump does it, though. It's somehow capitalism. ACT said we have the lowest workforce participation rate in 50 years, apart from COVID. Something needs to change dramatically. American dream is out of reach. Alicia said Caroline also ran for Congress in 2022 and stole $320,000 from her donors, so she's perfect for this administration. I forgot all about that. Jamar said, my 3 Ps, pussy, penis, Pornhub, plates. Oh, wait, that's 4. Jesus Christ, Jamar. All right. Let's talk about the grift of America 250. And cue all MAGA in here being like, you're just haters. Yeah, we do hate crime. We do hate grift.
150th birthday is being run by a shadow company you've never heard of. Freedom 250 has raised millions of dollars. It's selling access to the president, and it won't tell you who's paying or where the money goes. This is how Trump hijacked America's birthday. By rewriting the rules to let the ultra-wealthy and politically connected...
Can I just make it a suggestion to all members of Congress, if you're watching this, stop adding music to your shit. Don't do it. Just do normal stuff. We don't need your music. You're not more perfect union. Stop it. Just talk.
Take advantage of the American people. I'm Congressman Jared Huffman. I lead the Democrats on the House Natural Resources Committee. We've spent the past year trying to uncover the truth about what happened, and I want to walk you through exactly what we've found. So how did this private company end up running America's official 250th celebration, siphoning off millions of taxpayer dollars and harvesting Americans' personal data? Let's start at the beginning. In 2016, Congress did something rare. Republicans and Democrats came together and created a commission called America 250 to plan the 250th. They built it to be nonpartisan on purpose, so no president could ever make the country's birthday his own.
Imagine calling me a grifter right now while watching this video. The irony, Dean.
The America 250 Commission was well underway to honor the anniversary with expertly planned festivals, activities, and unifying events to celebrate our country and its founding. Then, Donald Trump decided he wanted something different. He wanted a party he could use for his own personal political and financial gain. So first, he tried to take over America 250. His appointee to the commission teamed up with the Speaker of the House in an attempt to push 4 commissioners out of their seats and replace them with MAGA loyalists. When that didn't work, Trump created his own shadow entity to circumvent and supplant America 250. They call it Freedom 250.
Never mind, that music's going to give me anxiety.
On paper, it's a shell company registered in Delaware through the same anonymous vendor the president uses for his other...
Yeah, why do we need that? Shouldn't the government be running this? Why do we have a LLC running American 250 or Freedom 250?
Businesses. But this LLC is different. It was lodged inside the National Park Foundation, a charity that's funded our national parks for 50 years. Think about why you'd do that. As part of a charity, the LLC could take in huge sums of money without ever naming who or where it came from. This arrangement lets them sell access to the president, collect checks from anyone willing to pay, and keep every donor's name secret, all under the banner of a trusted American institution, the National Parks Foundation. Then they starved America 250. Congress had set aside $150 million to celebrate our 250th. The America 250 Commission was promised $100 million of that funding. But in November of 2025, the White House told the America 250 chairwoman she would only get $50 million. And in the months that followed, they whittled it down to just $25 million. The rest of the money was taken by Freedom 250. Between this and other redirected funds, hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars are now unaccounted for.
Cool. Right? Super cool. Who wants transparency? This is the most transparent administration in history. Where's the money? We're not telling you. That's how transparent we are.
Now follow the money, because this is where it gets worse. Freedom 250 went after the real commission's corporate sponsors, not just donations, but a quid pro quo of access to Trump in exchange for cash. Lockheed Martin, ExxonMobil, Chevron, MasterCard, United Airlines, United Health. Most of these corporations are lobbying and trying to win contracts from the same government.
No, Brian, sorry. Democrats are not, we're not Democrats here. Nobody's crying that they can't steal anymore. What we're pointing out is that it appears that Trump is stealing. It was a strange conclusion you came to, right? Because we're obviously talking about the money that this administration is stealing or hiding, right? So obviously it's not a complaint that Democrats can't steal anymore, right? Could you just, and by the way, to all MAGA, what if for just the rest of your life, what if every time you saw something, you didn't do a whataboutism? What if you just like paid attention to what was happening on the screen and didn't try to change the subject to Democrats? What if you accidentally just stayed on topic? That'd be cool, right? We'd be able to have some good debates here. We'd be able to have like a real conversation if you guys didn't always deflect to Democrats.
That's now selling them special access. And as they wrote their checks to Freedom 250, the president was trading their stocks and posting their ticker symbols online to juice their values. Trump's cronies...
Trump just did it again today with Dell. He made an announcement and told everybody to go out and buy Dell stock, literally, and go buy Dell computers, and said that his son always asks for a Dell laptop. Listen, young teenagers and college students are not looking for Dell laptops, I promise you. That's a budget-friendly option.
Were then deployed across the globe to solicit money from foreign governments. The CEO of Freedom 250 flew to Davos, stood in front of a room of foreign governments and asked them, in his words, how they wanted to shape America's birthday. Foreign governments shaping our 250th. He called it marketing freedom. According to a whistleblower, not everyone who donated money to Freedom 250 knew that's what they were doing. Fundraisers misled donors who intended to support the America 250 Commission by giving them Freedom 250's banking information. And through this bait...
This is a kind of a bait and switch that the Trump organization and what's Trump's super PAC called? Is it Make America Great Again? Is it just called MAGA PAC? I can't remember what it is. They're known for this. They bait you in with, hey, this is going to Republicans, and then it winds up going into Trump's pocket.
And switch contributions meant for the nonpartisan birthday foundation were routed to Trump's shadow corporation instead. This is potential wire fraud. And Freedom 250 has been collecting more than money. Its website...
Dean, I just asked you to stop talking about Democrats. Can you just talk about what's happening here? Thanks, Dean.
Runs through a company owned by Brad Parscale.
He doesn't have a lot of
President's
personality.
longtime digital strategist. Every American who signs up for a free event, even the families who registered for the World Cup fan zone on the National Mall, hands over a name, a location, and a phone number that feeds straight into a political operation built to profile and target voters. Americans just wanting to celebrate our nation's 250th birthday are unknowingly signing up to potentially have their data harvested and added to Trump's campaign operation. While Trump and freedom to...
By the way, Brad Perscali, who's running this, is a registered agent for the Israeli government. Since he left the Trump campaign, which he used to run, which he was stealing money from as well, he got into like real estate flipping. Then he did like some political consulting. He worked for Jim Renacci, and then he started working for Salem Media Group, and now he literally just like works for Israel. And then they're like, "Hey, we have a scam you need to run. Can you come run it?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm the guy. I'm the guy you call when you need to run a scam."
250 are pretending this celebration is about America's history. They've been forcing public servants across the country to erase our country's real story from parks and public spaces. Park rangers were given marching orders to take down factual signs about slavery, climate change, and the forced removal of
Thanks,
Native
Guru.
Americans.
Appreciate it.
And in their place, Trump and his political allies have been pushing their sanitized and distorted version.
Oh, that's fair. Dean, the chat's asking, can you name the Democrat who stole money from the government? Thank you.
Of history. They paid out 10 million taxpayer dollars for a fleet of trucks running...
Who's the leader of MAGA? It's Trump. You guys are all in a Trump cult. Trump is your Lord and Savior. Trump is more important to you guys than God. Even you Christians. You will choose Trump over God.
You videos and an AI-generated George Washington that tells school kids that their rights are a gift from God, something the real Washington never said. They're parading these proselytizing propaganda trucks in front of schools on your dime. They've turned what should be a non-political unifying celebration of America's 250th into a right-wing Christian battering ram aimed at breaking down what Thomas Jefferson called the wall of separation between church and state.
I said MAGA puts Trump above God. I don't know what you are. I'm talking about the MAGA movement. They do put Trump above God because you guys choose Trump over. If you are MAGA chooses Trump over biblical teachings. That's why I say that. I don't know what your personal beliefs are, but I do know what MAGA supports.
Enshrining their extreme version of Christianity as our de facto national religion. This agenda is not subtle. It fuses white Christian supremacist identity with history revisionism, insisting the nation's founding, its laws, and our fundamental rights are rooted in the Christian Bible rather than the revolutionary principle of self-government. Their own documents are littered with proof that for them, this anniversary is not actually about America, it's about promoting two things: Christian nationalism and Donald Trump. An internal
Mostly
playbook
Donald Trump.
called for scripture readings and worship nights on the National Mall as official birthday programming. They peddled sponsorship packages and photo ops with Trump at $10 million a pop. A UFC ring was built on the south lawn of the White House, not for the 4th of July, but for the president's 80th birthday, with seats that ran $1.5 million and went to executives from the companies his government is supposed to regulate.
Huge Plattner news about to drop. Okay. Fuck. One hand, will you? Do you know what it is? Will you DM me on Twitter? Good to see you, by the way. And if you're not following One Hand Politics, highly recommend it. That's Mason. You guys have seen Mason on Jubilee, most recently destroying Dave Rubin. Yeah, when that's coming, when you can share that with me, will you DM that to me? Oh, I see you. Appreciate that.
They handed out contracts to Trump's closest allies, including Event Strategies, Inc.
Oh, no, I said it's Swalwell shit. Like Swalwell type shit? Is that what you're saying?
One of the masterminds who orchestrated the rallies surrounding the January 6th insurrection.
Yes, it's Swalwell type shit. Great. Fuck. Really bad. Good Lord, are we going to get stuck with fucking Susan Collins? Good Lord. All right. Well, do you know who's going to break it? Sorry, I'm reading DMs. Do you know who's going to break it? You're getting a brief made. I'll send it. Okay. All right. Well, when I get that over from Mason, I'll read it to you guys as soon as I get it. Thanks, Mason. Appreciate it.
For every fact we've unearthed in this investigation, we've had to fight to get it. The Republican majority in Congress has far more power than we do to demand answers, but instead of joining us in serious oversight, they've used their power to do the opposite. They've blocked our requests, shielded the individuals and entities involved, and refused to hold a single hearing on any of this. They are shielding bad actors instead of holding them accountable. So today, against the obstruction and resistance of our Republican colleagues, we are dragging this fiasco out of the shadows and shining a bright light on the corruption and fraud surrounding Freedom 250. America turns 250 years old only once. We should be celebrating this anniversary together with patriotism and integrity. This milestone was paid for by every generation that built this country. But Trump has tried to quietly steal it, warping it into a celebration for one man and weaponizing it to advance his own personal, political, and financial interests. This is bigger than one anniversary.
So Democrat socialist women from here on out? Yeah, might have to.
The political and legal machinations that brought us to this point are a potential blueprint for others who seek to betray the public trust, take something the public loves, run dark money through it, sell access, and make sure the details are hidden from public scrutiny. It worked this time.
The Real America 250 team teamed up with Disney, and it was freaking great. Nashville knows how to have a good time. Didn't know that.
We can't
Thank you,
allow it
Dolphin.
to happen again. For the next government program, the next fund, the next thing that's supposed to work for all of us to be exploited and misused this way. That's why we have to confront this grift and corruption right now. We laid out in meticulous detail how it happened, not to tell you what to think about America's 250th anniversary, but so you'd know what they've done in our name, so that you have the...
All right, we'll end it there. I know now. I feel like everybody's just waiting for Graham Plattner when that comes. It sucks. It sucks, but that's the difference. I don't know what's going to come out, but whatever comes out, I bet if it was a Republican, it would make no difference, and it makes a difference to me. I hope it makes a difference to you, and I hope Graham Plattner, if it's that bad, if it's like Swalwell, he needs to step down. Nothing breaking news for Plattner. Yeah, well, look, Mason's fairly well connected, so he'll put it together and we can check the validity. But generally speaking, he's not going to reach out to me. It's not like we talk all the time. I can't imagine Mason reaching out to me on this if it wasn't a real story. So same thing happened with a couple people right before the, it wasn't from Mason, but right before Swalwell, and those turned out to be true too. So they're in a damn movie right now. Patriot Front or FBI agents. Maybe they are. All right. Let's talk about corruption here. James Comer was asked about Donald Trump's corruption, and
what's the difference now?
The best light that you can put James Comer in is that he's dumb. The worst light is that he's corrupt and he lies for Donald Trump. You could probably pick some sort of middle ground, but best case scenario for James Comer is he doesn't understand what our laws are. This is James Comer reacting to Donald Trump making like $2 billion off the presidency so far. Most of it, almost all of it, from crypto scams. People are like, he's a great businessman. He didn't make very much money off of his real estate deals. I think somewhere like 100 or 200 million out of those 2.2 billion. Almost all of it has come from his crypto scams. And here's the defense that he's coming up with now.
What's the difference now between what Biden and his family did and what Trump's family?
That's a great question. I get asked that a lot.
That's why I thought so.
No. If you ask Donald Trump Jr., are you on a board for this crypto company? Are you on the board for this predictions market company? Are you on the board for this drone company? He will say, yes, I am.
Correct.
If you ask the president, the family, did you all do this development overseas in this country? Yes, it's the best development ever. It's going to be blah, 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 blah. They're transparent.
Are they? Ask them where their money's coming from in World Liberty Financial. I haven't seen one of them be transparent about the money they're getting from World Liberty Financial. Not one.
If you ask Joe Biden, did you take money from China? No.
Because he didn't. Now he said, he asked Joe Biden. They didn't ever prove that Joe Biden took any money from China. Notice how he just said, like, compare the Trump sons. And now he's comparing Joe Biden. Well, was there any evidence that Joe Biden took money from China? MAGA, happy to stand corrected here. Do you have any evidence that Joe Biden took money from China?
I don't know what you're talking about. No one in my family took money. Well, then I subpoenaed their bank records, and guess what? There's money from China in there. Millions.
Money to his family members, right? But not to Joe Biden.
Of dollars for what? You may not like.
For consulting. It's on his taxes. It's on Hunter Biden's taxes. They subpoenaed his tax returns. That's how they got the information.
What? Some of the deals.
Comer's never looked more like Bobby Hill, poorly maintained.
That the Trump family's been involved in, but we know about them. You know, the Democrats say, oh, you should be investigating Trump. For what?
For pump and dump schemes and for taking foreign bribes.
Well, his son's on a board of a drone company.
No, what they want to investigate is why his son joined the board of a drone company with no experience, and then how the drone company got a loan from the Defense Department, the biggest loan they've ever given out. That's what we want to know. How did a guy with no experience with drones join the board of a drone company and then get government money? See, it's not illegal to take money from a Chinese company if you're consulting, or even if you work for them. You can take money from them. It's actually not even illegal for Donald Trump Jr. to join the board of this drone company and to get money. What would be illegal is if then the proximity to the president is why he got that contract. So that's what you should investigate, how they got that contract, and if it had anything to do with the president's son being on the board. This is the problem with James Comer. Like, you don't know what we're asking you to investigate. Perhaps we need somebody else in charge then.
On a board of a drone company. What's to investigate? He's on the board of a drone company.
Correct. And he got a massive loan from the Pentagon.
It's the Bidens lied about everything. They completely lied, and to continue to lie to this day. So
Hunter Biden doesn't have to tell you why he got his money unless you subpoena him. And once you did subpoena him, then you learned how he got his money.
There's a big difference. Now, nothing that I've seen.
Yeah, the biggest difference is one of them was getting money from government contracts while their dad was president, and one isn't. Hunter Biden was getting no money from government contracts while his dad was president or vice president. I don't think Hunter Biden got any money from United States government contracts. So yeah, there is a difference.
The president's family's done illegal. As far as I know, they're paying taxes. They've been transparent. Now, we can have ethics laws that would ban president's family from doing X, Y, or Z, but we don't. There are no laws on the books. Maybe there should be, but there aren't.
Correct. You should write new laws. Kirsten said, hello, Jay. The reason why I wanted to run is so that disabled individuals can have more protections and resources to live comfortable lives. That's a beautiful reason to decide to run. I love that. We need more voices for people who are generally voiceless, too. I love that. All right. Just so we're clear, Trump reported $800 million. That was his income from World Liberty Financial, which is a competing currency to the United States dollar. 80% of those purchases have come from overseas. We have no transparency on that. $520 million of that is from token sales, meaning every time somebody buys tokens of World Liberty Financial, he gets paid. So 80% of that $520 million is coming from overseas crypto wallets that we have no transparency on. And more than 250 million of that is from selling interest in the business. So what is that? 500 or 770 million dollars. Then 635 million. I swear to God, Trump, I had to double check it. Trump made $635 million on an illegal cryptocurrency meme coin pump and dump, which people were going to jail for right and left until Donald Trump became president, and now nobody goes to jail for it anymore. There were dozens of people going to jail for it because it's an obvious scam. It's insider trading. It's rigged. You buy all these you give away all these coins to your friends and your family, and then you announce it. You hype it up. The coin skyrockets. Then you pull the rug, meaning you sell your coins, and the value of the crypto drops. And everybody, all these retail investors that came in later, they're left holding the bag. I think I saw the other day that if you spent like $10,000 on Trump's cryptocurrency, that same currency would be worth about $300 now. And he cashed out on that. 500. What was the total number? $635 million on a pump and dump obvious crime. Beyond crypto, $80 million from settlements with media companies, where he just threatened to sue them, and they're like, "Fuck it, it's gonna cost us hundreds of millions, so we'll just give you money." $52 million from licensing his name to overseas property developers, many of those places where he's conducting foreign policy. His total page, his total filings were 1,000 pages. Is this from Abby Phillip? Let me see. Is it from Abby Phillip? Yeah. I want you to see Republicans scramble to try and justify this.
Help the party as a whole. This is the part that really is amazing. I remember sitting on a show, and you guys were saying that Donald Trump was a fraud, and he really probably wasn't worth $1 billion. He was lying about his wealth. Yes, exactly. And now you guys are pissed off that he's worth billions of dollars, admitting that he made a lot of money.
It's always this, you're just jealous. No, he committed crimes, dude. He was lying then about his wealth. He was inflating his wealth, which the courts found multiple times that he was lying about his wealth. His tongue is tiny. Why is his tongue so small? And now he's committing crimes. And they're like, well, you were mad at him then, and now you're mad at him now. Yeah. People are mad at fraudsters all the time. People rarely stop being mad at fraudsters unless you're voting for them. Then you're like, oh, never mind. We just don't pay attention.
It's like the definition of hypocrisy. No, it's like Donald Trump's not.
You're low IQ. No, you're low IQ. If you meant to say I am low IQ, you need an apostrophe R-E. Y-O-U apostrophe R-E. Low IQ. You are low IQ. It's a weird thing to call somebody else low IQ while incorrectly using English.
Not really rich. No. Damn it, now he's too rich. Like, which one is it?
Hold on, Ben. Hold on a second, Ben. I don't think
it is.
Do you know what hypocrisy really means?
When you say that Donald Trump's not rich and you say he's lying when he's running it.
I did. The guy that blamed the Dems for losing all his money, he lost all his money in Trump's pump and dump crypto scam, and then he's like, it was probably the Dems' fault. Okay.
Then he actually is rich, and then he makes more money, and now you're mad about it?
Ben,
like, that's hypocrisy.
Here's what we're really talking about here. We're talking about Trump in 2024 bringing in $600 million from his businesses. And the very next year, the only thing that's changed is he suddenly is president. And that jumps to $2.2 billion. That's not being a good businessman. That's not playing the market. Those are gains that no one is getting.
But a lot of people that went into crypto, a lot of people that are liberal, you can go to Soros's. They've made a lot of money off crypto.
Okay, it's true. A lot of people made money off of crypto. He ran a pump and dump scheme. I don't know if they know this or not. If they do, they're gross. If they don't, they're lazy. I know people who made a bunch of money in crypto. Trump ran a pump and dump. We can just show you the Trump meme coin. Like this, before Trump was president, everybody, 100% of people would say, this is a scam. I could show you this picture and you'd be like, oh, this is an obvious scam. But now that Trump is president, you're going to justify this. January 19th high, 75.35. January 20th high, 63.85. It's now down around like $2. You can see here this pump. You had this big dip, and then Trump offers an intimate private dinner. And you saw this spike. All these people bought Trump crypto, kind of leveled off for a while, and then it tanked again. This is supposed to be a crime. And if this administration was serious, they would prosecute these types of crimes. But they're not prosecuting these types of crimes because Trump is doing these crimes. This is the frustration. And he stole from you guys. That's the craziest thing. And you're like, yeah, he deserves it, dude. You're gonna, he's just that smart, man. He can pull it off.
I just want to be really clear about what we're talking about when we say crypto. You heard in the clip, President Trump claimed that he didn't know anything about it. That we know is not true, because the reason he made much of the money on crypto is because just a few days before the election, the inauguration, he started advertising these crypto meme tokens.
Yes.
That is where he is getting the crypto money from. He personally did that.
Yep.
So he knows where he got that money
that's not
from.
where
He
he's getting
knows
a lot of the money.
No. That was $600 million.
I know, but the real
in
wealth
crypto
is from the World Liberty.
That is the biggest, the largest.
No, the largest chunk is not World Liberty Financial. Do they do homework?
The largest chunk of this is the $600 million from the sales of the transaction sales of the meme coin.
The meme coin made $635 million. World Liberty Financial was $520 million.
So
he did make a lot of money.
There's nothing wrong with
That's
that.
my question, though.
There's nothing wrong with that, guys. I mean, it's a crime, but there's nothing wrong with that.
He did make a lot of money from the world.
Did he commit a crime? He didn't commit a crime. It's just jealousy. People are jealous that
He did commit a motherfucking crime, multiple crimes. Bribery, you can't take bribes. He broke the emoluments clause, both foreign and domestic, and he ran a pump and dump. He committed multiple crimes. You're just jealous. No, he's a criminal. He committed multiple crimes.
A lot of money.
Can I answer bit? So nobody.
This is why we call it a cult. Like multiple crimes. Yes, he sells pardons. That's how people would go and they would buy his cryptocurrency, and then he would give out a pardon, or they'd donate to his PAC and he'd give that out. All right, and then let's not forget this. Let's not forget about that jet. Okay, this was CNN did a great job with this. Anderson Cooper did a good job, so I'm going to play it. Let's not forget about that fucking Qatari jet. You sound super jealous. I guess. What, you think I'm jealous that he commits crimes? Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to live above the rules all the time. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe we're all jealous that he gets to live above the rules, but he only gets to live above the rules because you guys just don't care. Which is weird. Like, this is hurting people. Real people have lost like their entire life savings because of Donald Trump. Trump scammed multiple people. You can go watch these videos of people who were like, that was all of my savings, and I lost it for Trump running a pump and dump scheme, which was a crime. And you guys will blame them. You won't blame the actual criminal. Well, if you're dumb enough, fair enough. But why are you voting and supporting somebody who's running these types of criminal enterprises? Well, because he does hate immigrants, and we hate immigrants, so. Let's not forget about the Qatari jet. Let's not forget about the amount of lies they've told about this jet, too.
Newsroom, we begin tonight keeping them honest with the president heading home from the maiden flight on his new plane, the 747 he got from a foreign potentate. The one he'll be taking.
Just a reminder while we're going, guys, it's about an hour and a half left in the show today. We are going to watch the U.S. game today in the Discord. That's at 5 p.m. Pacific time. You do not have to be a paid member to do that. However, if you want to join us for movie night this Wednesday, you do need to be a paid member. Those start at $3 on YouTube, I think. So YouTube, Twitch, or TikTok, you can become a paid member. You can join us for movie nights. And then just a reminder, we are crowdfunded. So that gift goal up in the top left corner or bottom left corner, depending on how you're watching, is how we pay our bills. If you can help us knock out that gift goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal, as well as Super Chats are the way to go. Obviously, the payment apps take a little bit less, so we prefer those. And if you're over on TikTok and you enjoy us being here, make sure you're gifting when you can. The TikTok overlords have told us that we get protection when people gift. That's what they care about. They care about that money. They don't care about views. They care about money and shares. So share it and gift when you can, and then we'll probably be able to stay alive over on TikTok.
Him when he leaves office, purportedly for his presidential library, which, by the way, will not be ready for years, but Mr. Trump will have the plane. This is the plane he acquired because the two presidential 747s already in the Air Force fleet were simply too old for him, and he just could not wait for a younger model.
By the way, not too old. They were still functional. He just didn't like them.
This was a gift from a country that's treated us very well. I went to Qatar. I said I'd like to use it for a period of time because the other ones, as you know, are under construction. They'll be here in 2 years.
Mr. Miller is still worried about trans people. Listen, brother, if Donald Trump transitioned, we wouldn't believe everything they say. Have you heard of Caitlyn Jenner? We don't believe everything Caitlyn Jenner says because Caitlyn Jenner's trans. What you're doing is you're projecting that you believe everything Donald Trump says, regardless, and you think that that's how other people shape their political opinions as well. Whoever they voted for, they just blindly believe. But we don't do that. You do. These are your own thoughts being projected on other people.
And because, you know, the plane is 35 years old. So I said I'd like to use it. And the Emir, Tamim, who's a great gentleman, he said, no, I'd like to make a contribution to the country.
And by the country means to Donald Trump. I'm just going to give you this big fucking plane.
That is so Emir. Wanting to make a contribution to the country. The plane that the president will take with him in 2 years. That contribution is estimated to be worth about $400 million. Now, I want to be clear.
MAGA, you told us, and you argued this, you said that the plane was for the Defense Department. That's what they told us. And that's what you said. How is a gift for the Defense Department going to be in Trump's presidential library, allegedly? And why is Trump going to get to use this if it's for the Defense Department? Why are his family members using it? In fact, better question, why isn't the fucking Defense Department using it? It was for the country, but it's just for the Trumps? And then he gets to take it with him? That's a bribe. That is more money. Just this jet alone is more money times 10, more than 10 probably, than Hunter Biden ever got. And it was legal for Hunter Biden to get it. It's illegal for Donald Trump to get it. I think it's Lincoln. Somebody can correct me if it's wrong. Lincoln was given, I believe it was like elephant tusks. And he came back to Congress and he's like, hey, I want to keep these elephant tusks. And they're like, you can't. You cannot take gifts from foreign countries. It looks like a bribe. And he's like, fuck, I can't get these elephant tusks. Fast forward, no president takes bribes. And then Trump's like, I'm going to take this jet. And you're like, that's fine. That's fine. We don't need laws.
Because the president has made it very clear, it's not a gift to him.
We love you, Trump. He's not here, you psycho. We love you, Trump. It's not a cult.
And shame on anyone for asking.
It's not a gift to me, it's a gift to the Department of Defense. And you should know better.
It is
I guess she knew better.
Shocking to even think that the president would accept such a gift for himself. And he keeps claiming it is free.
They're giving us a free jet. I could say, no, don't give us. I want to pay you $1 billion or 400 million or whatever it is. Or I could say, thank you very much.
Or as the Trojans might say, don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
That is not his. It belongs to the U.S. No, it doesn't. It clearly belongs to him, which is why he's taking it for his presidential library. It was for the defense. Why would it go with him if it belongs to? It belongs to us, but he gets to keep it and use it forever. Okay.
Keeping him honest, though, it is not a gift to this country, and it's not really free, as the president suggests. Again, he's taking it with him when he leaves in 2 years, so at best, it's a loaner to the White House. And the country, meaning American taxpayers, are paying plenty for it, just like with the ballroom.
That is 100% a lie. Robin, where is it going to go? We'll stop this for you. Robin, once Trump leaves the White House, where is the plane going? You can poll the audience, too, if you want some help. Where's it going to go, Robin? I heard the jet has a Starlink. Probably. Jesus. No, I asked where is it going to go? If it belongs to the United States, why is it going with Trump when he leaves office? Can you explain that? He doesn't have a presidential library, which is where it's supposed to go. He's going to use it. How does it belong to us? Because he said it. Because he said it. He's going to use it to drop shit on Democrats, just his own shit. Donald Trump's going to, oh, nasty. Just getting blasted by Trump digested fillet of fish. You as a hater. Yes, I hate Donald Trump. That guy fucking sucks. You assume it's going with him. No, he told us it's, Jesus Christ. Do we really have to do this? You have to admit that you're wrong. If I'm going to stop the show here, you're going to have to admit that you're wrong after this, okay? Who is that said that? Robin? You're going to have to admit that you're wrong after this. Let's see. All right.
We're getting our first look at what President Trump wants for his presidential library in Miami. And like all things Trump,
where's the actual unveiling video? There's like there's one that they released. Where is that one? I want the shorter one. Is this it? Here it is. Just so you're clear, Rob, this is not real. This is what they say that they're going to build, okay? So this is the Trumps released this. You see the video credit here is from @RealDonaldTrump. That's his Twitter. So he posted this. We will not know until Trump leaves office. No, we know. By the way, also not going to be a library. It's going to be a hotel. So Trump's going to build a hotel. Oh, what do we got in there? Is that a big fucking plane inside the building? What's that right there, Robin? What's that right there? Is that a big fucking plane, Robin? Yeah, that's a big old fucking plane. Probably a 747. See if they have yeah, there it is. What's that, Robin? We'll wait. What is it, Robin? Is that a big fucking plane? Is that a big 747? It's not the plane from Saudi. You're right. It's not the plane from Saudi. Saudis didn't give him a plane. God damn. You just got to know some things. What plane is it, Robin? Is he taking one of the other Air Force One planes? What plane is this? Would you be surprised to know, Robin, that they said this is the plane that they got from the Qataris? Would you be surprised that that's what they said it was? So are they lying too? They're lying. Even if what if it wasn't? Does he just get to keep an Air Force One plane for himself? What's this plane? Where's he going to get this, Robin? All right. Robin's not going to admit that she's wrong because they never do, but keep lying to yourself, Robin.
$100 million to bring it up to Air Force One standards, according to the Pentagon. Taxpayers get the bill for a loaner, and the president gets a keeper from Qatar, which I seem to recall him once having very strong feelings about, allegedly. I want to go back to 2016 and one of his debates with Hillary Clinton.
Saudi Arabia giving $25 million, Qatar, all of these countries. You talk about women and women's rights. So these are people that push gays off buildings. These are people that kill women and treat women horribly, and yet you take their money. So I'd like to ask you right now, why don't you give back the money that you've taken from certain countries that treat certain groups of people so horribly? Why don't
All right, Robin, is it fair to say that that's pretty hypocritical now, knowing the amount of money he's taken from these exact countries that he's naming?
you give back the money?
The donation from Qatar he was so offended by, allegedly, was a $1 million donation to the Clinton Foundation in 2011 while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State, and a reported $10 to $25 million donation from Saudi.
By the way, I actually thought that was a good criticism by him, for the record. I thought that was one of his best moments when he was running the first time. That was a good criticism. But it goes to show that Donald Trump's criticisms are much like you guys who follow him, your criticism. Like, it's just used as a weapon. It's not an actual principle that you hold. It's just something. And this is what sucks about being a progressive or being on the left is like we actually have standards and we hold people to those standards and you don't. So every time there's something comes up with somebody on the left, you're like, you better hold them to that standard. And then we do. And then when it happens on the right, you hold nobody to a standard. That plane is currently being used by who, Robin? Who's using that plane? Robin, is it the Defense Department? Because that's who it's for, remember. So why is Trump's family using it?
Saudi Arabia over the years, dating back to 1999. Secretary Clinton...
Yes, I did just describe the Democrat Party. They have standards. They hold people to those standards. They run people out when people don't uphold those standards. And then you guys don't have any standards. Who did you run out of your party? The only people you ever run out of your party are people who criticize Trump. The last two people that you've had, like what was it? George Santos. He committed crimes, and we were like, "Yay!" And then Trump pardoned him. Trump keeps pardoning the Democrats who break the law. Democrats break the law. You had the guy in Texas, and then you had I don't know if Mendez ever got a pardon or not, but he was lobbying for one. And Trump just pardons them. You don't hold anybody accountable. You don't have standards. Otherwise, Donald Trump would not be president right now if you had any standards at all.
Time acknowledged that some donations may have, quote, slipped through the cracks on one or two instances, but also insisted that the foundation had practiced, quote, overwhelming disclosure. Whatever the case may be, it certainly did not look good, and then candidate Trump knew it. He knew that...
Chicago City Council looking to make the street in front of Trump Tower, Chicago. Name the street in front of Trump Tower, Chicago to Barack Hussein Obama Way. that would be so, he would be so mad. That would be amazing.
Even the appearance of impropriety matters. What's more, he seemed to understand back then that gifts to public servants do not come with no strings attached. Here he is in 2015 talking about his campaign donations and what they bought him as a citizen.
I give to many people before the...
Made sense. Can someone explain to me what the Democrat Party is? I've never heard of the Democrat Party. I've heard of the Democratic Party. It'll take too long.
Before 2 months ago, I was a businessman. I give to everybody. When they call, I give. And you know what? When I need something from them, 2 years later, 3 years later, I call them. They are there for me.
At the time, that openness about buying future...
Remember, that's what he was going to put a stop to. That's why you guys loved him. He's going to stop all this.
...from elected officials was seen by many as refreshing honesty. Lately, though, when he's on the receiving end of a gift worth far in excess of any that he himself ever gave anyone, the president wants us to believe that he is not like all those other politicians that he criticized for all those years. And look, maybe he's right. Maybe he alone cannot be tempted by a fancy 747 or a UAE-linked firm buying a 49% stake of his family's cryptocurrency exchange, paying $500 million, according to the Wall Street Journal. That and other crypto ventures have made him $1.4 billion in 2025 alone. Perhaps he can't be swayed by smaller tokens.
What did the Democrats do for Americans in the last 20 years? Didn't use the presidency to commit crimes and make billions of dollars. I agree with you. I think Democrats suck. We can agree on that. And where did you go? Because let's see if we can agree. Richie, and you do this. I asked you not to do whataboutism, but now tell me what Republicans. I've answered your question. What has Donald Trump done for you? And if your answer is that Donald Trump has done nothing for you, if you can't come up with something that Donald Trump has done, then you're literally voting for the more corrupt person. Same results, but a more corrupt person. Yeah, and now I'm asking you, Richie. I answered your questions. I don't think. Look, I think that Obamacare slowed the rate of growth for premiums, and that's just true. You can look that up yourself. I think that Democrats are slightly more fiscally responsible than Republicans. They lower deficit spending. Republicans increase deficit spending. If we looked back just like recently, I thought Democrats did an okay job managing COVID. The Chips and Science Act was, it was still a massive handout to corporations, but it did help us get back on our feet. I think what was it? What was that called? The Inflation Reduction Act. It brought down inflation. So, they've done some stuff. It's okay. Again, not a Democrat. But now I'd ask you the same thing. What did Donald Trump do for you? What has Donald Trump done that's been good for this country?
Like the $130,000 gold bar that Swiss businessmen presented him, or the golden Rolex clock that came with it, or the so-called...
And by the way, Richie, you have to answer this question or else you're blocked for the rest of the day. Because I took time to answer your question and stop. You do have to answer this question or we got to get rid of you.
Peace Prize that FIFA created for him because he was sore about not getting the Nobel Prize. Virtually any country, company, or individual wanting something from this administration has come bearing gifts, literal gifts, golden gifts often. And even the appearance this creates is staggering when compared to his predecessors, Republicans and Democrats. Jimmy Carter put his family peanut farm in a blind...
What'd you say, Richie? Say it again.
...presidency to avoid potential conflicts of interest. Peanuts. In 1988, then candidate George H.W. Bush wrote to his son, George W. Bush, warning him about...
Well, he didn't cancel out my health care that was reasonably priced to give us Obamacare would cost me 10 times either. Obama didn't do that either. That's a thing you just made up. Obama didn't cancel anybody's health care.
all the so-called new...
If your health care price went up, that was whoever you were paying is the one that raised the price, not Obama.
...who might try to cozy up to him in anticipation of his father becoming president. Quoting from his letter now, as we move closer to November, you'll find you've got a lot of new friends. They'll ask for things. Do you know anyone at Commerce? Can you call Joe Dokes at State? He went on to say, my plea is this. Please do not contact any federal agency or department on anything. A call from a Bush will get returned, but there's a great likelihood that it will be leaked, maybe deliberately misrepresented. He adds, if there is a legitimate inquiry, call my...
He's getting wages in the labor market with the... He is getting wages in the labor market with the lack of illegals able to work. That... What? He is getting wages in the labor market? Explain. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. I don't need help. Other working class did. Yeah, but wages are not keeping up with inflation. Your dollar's worth less now. Donald Trump didn't do anything to make that better. Your dollar buys less than it did before, and the increases in wages are not keeping up with inflation. So it's a net loss for you, for everybody.
My office, it is certainly appropriate.
Getting labor market back up. Labor market, we've been bleeding jobs, my friend. Unemployment rate went up, and we're bleeding like job creation. Oh for 3, dude.
Contact your own government, but let's do it through my office, and no one can accuse any of the family of trying to use influence. Seems like a long, long time ago. During the Obama administration, ethics czar Norm Eisen did not even let him refinance his home mortgage to avoid even the appearance of impropriety. This has been the norm for presidents in both parties for decades. For matters involving a whole lot less than a $400 million jumbo jet.
Guys, May's here in her feelings.
Again, it is possible that this president cannot...
Mods, when you're sick of May, you can just mute May for the rest of the life.
...be moved even by such absurdly valuable gifts. You might believe that. Yet if that's what he...
You think the 30,000-page document... see, this... I don't know. How do you guys not understand words mean? What words mean? Do you think the 30-page document they call Obamacare didn't change... the healthcare? Of course it changed it. I said it didn't. Obama didn't make your health insurance premiums go up 10x. That's what I said, right? So if you think that Obamacare made your health insurance premiums go up 10x, then give me some data on that. That's all I was responding to. You're saying that it didn't change anything? No, I didn't. In fact, if you look, we'll just do this so while we're here. Healthcare premiums by year. Where's this? How far does this go back? 99. You tell me when Obamacare, where this big sharp increase was from Obamacare. Obamacare went in 2009, right? Did we see a sharp increase, or did it kind of keep increasing? In fact, you could see from 2009, it went up less than $2,000. Then it went up $1,100. Then it went up another $1,400 ish. Then it went up $1,100 ish. And then you see this big jump where it goes up almost $2,000. That's when we got rid of the Obamacare mandates. And then it's gone up on average. There's about $1,500 there, $1,700 there. And then this massive jump went up nearly $3,000. Like, Obamacare didn't cause prices to skyrocket. That's just a lie. This didn't happen. You guys say this all the time, but like, prices have just been going up. You show me how Obamacare made any of this worse. It was going up before Obamacare. It was going up after Obamacare. In fact, if you look at the Obamacare years, it went up a little bit less quickly. See how easy it is to lie to you? Show me, like, how's this Obamacare's fault? Going up before, going up after. Right? Amy said 2024, 2.23 million jobs created. 2025, 181,000. What changed? Leadership. Yeah, but Trump's creating jobs. Is he? Is he, though? ABC is a source. This is KFF. This isn't ABC. I mean, is it Kaiser Foundation not a good source for you? What source would you like to use? Do you have a source that would show that Obamacare raised premiums faster than it was before?
He is asking the country to believe. He's asking them to cast aside all the same suspicions that he himself has raised, all the insinuations he has made, and all he has said about any politician not named Donald J. Trump.
Look at the money they make. They're full-time politicians. Pelosi and all these people, Waters, right. Obama. I expected to lose a lot of money. Right. I lost billions. I expected that. I was okay. Right. These people made money being president.
They made money being president. Well, he now knows of what he speaks.
I'm seeing the accusations against Plattner not confirmed. Did not come from Mason. I'm seeing stuff on Twitter Jen sent to me. I'm not going to say it out loud until it's confirmed. Man, if they have a source for this, that's crazy. You can look it up yourself. I'm just not comfortable saying it out loud unless there's a confirmed source. Those are some heinous allegations. So we'll see if there's sources on those. We'll wait for that. Okay, let's talk about the economy. This is where's my economic friends? Illusion, I know you'll like this one. This was from Diary of a CEO. Is that what it's called? Diary of a CEO, I think. This is Jeremy Grantham. He is a British billionaire investor. He's an author. He's now an environmental philanthropist. I think he's given like 95% of his money away, which, again, you can't be an ethical billionaire. But if you are going to be an ethical billionaire, give all your money away. And maybe you'll be a little bit better. He was the founder of GMO, which is a Boston-based asset management firm. One of the things that I think is frustrating currently about this, and it's not just this administration, it's politics in general, it's economists in general, it's capitalists in general. We are in a completely fraudulent market where 6 companies who are driven entirely by speculation are propping up our stock market. If you get rid of the top 6 companies, we've actually been bleeding money for like the last 10 years. If you didn't have the top 6 companies and you were just invested without those 6 companies, you would have lost money. This is very similar to what happened in the .com bubble. For like 20 years, people, I think for like, if you invested for 12 years during the .com bubble and you kept your money in the Dow for 12 years, you would have lost money. After 12 years, you're out money. We're about to go through that again. We're about to go through a crash in the stock market. And the only reason nobody's talking about it is because everybody's incentivized to not talk about it. Politicians are incentivized to pretend it's salvageable. The economists can't come out and just be doom and gloom all the time because nobody will put them on TV. The people managing your money are saying that it's going to keep going up forever and ever and ever. It can't. That's a fairy tale. Markets can't always go up. There's no way that can happen. I don't know when we're going to run out of money to invest in these tech companies, but we're getting really fucking close. NVIDIA just announced another round of funding. I think it was like $100 billion, and it's all entirely circular funding. They announced a strategic partnership with what they said was like a data center company, and all the data center company, they just have an idea, and NVIDIA is basically going to front them all the equipment, and they're calling it a strategic partnership. And NVIDIA is going to also own these data center companies, and they're just giving them equipment that is not selling, is overpriced, and they're pretending that it's revenue, but it's not revenue. They're all faking this now, and all these massive tech companies are just trying to be like the one who makes it, but all of their stocks are going to crash. And it's just a matter of like when they can stop pulling liquidity out of the markets. When you guys stop investing, when retail investors stop investing, then the crash comes, and we're getting pretty fucking close to that. You can look at SpaceX. SpaceX looked like, according to Elon Musk, like it was going to go to $200-$300, and it's done nothing but plummet. There's not money. There's not enough liquidity in the markets to prop up SpaceX stock. And now you're looking at these reduced valuations of NVIDIA, of OpenAI, of Anthropic, and money's drying up. I don't give financial advice here. I can tell you now officially all of my money is out of the markets. I had very little in the markets. It's now officially out of the markets completely. I wouldn't keep money there, but again, I'm not a financial advisor, and you should speak to professionals. But keep in mind that if you're talking to a financial advisor, their job is to make money. And if you take your money out, they don't get any money for managing it anymore. They're not going to tell you to pull your money out of the markets.
Intact in 5 or 10 years.
Because they're so...
Let's see. Illusion said, the most expensive market in our history, preached. True. Amy's also said, real wage growth 2024, 1.1 to 1.4, 2025, 0.08. What changed? Leadership. Facts. This is not going well. Trump is doing very poorly by every metric. Can you please stop pretending he's doing well?
Badly overpriced today. Back in the tech bubble of 2000.
Sorry, before this starts, just a reminder, we got about an hour left. I'm going to wait for confirmation for the Graham Plattner news. We'll see what happens. I'll update the gift goal too. I think we're a little ways off on that, but we've about an hour left. If you guys want to help us knock out the remaining balance of that gift goal, that would be greatly appreciated. This is our job. I know money's tight for everybody, but if you do have the means to contribute to help us keep the lights on here, that would be great. Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal take the least amount. Super Chats obviously show up on the screen if you like that. And then over on TikTok, if you can help gift, that keeps us from getting taken down.
We had a 10-year forecast for U.S. equities of minus 2% a year for 10 years. And they came out with minus 3%. The period from 2000 to 2010, you simply lost money in the U.S. market. 10 years later, you had less money than you started with. And this is a higher price market, I believe, than 2000.
So you think it's going to be even worse?
David says, fuck your goal. David, this isn't your dad. You can't fuck a goal, okay?
In Japan, you went 20 years and you lost money. You went 30 years and you still hadn't gotten back. It took 35 years for the Japanese market to recover.
So what are you saying?
What I'm saying is it's quite typical to get beaten around the head in the stock market when it becomes crazily overpriced, as it is today, and that it's a very good idea.
Honestly, any of you, go find a fund that doesn't price in the top 6 companies and go put your money in that fund. You will lose money. Month over month, you will lose money. If we didn't have these highly speculative, it's 6 companies that are not, their value is not driven by their revenue. It's driven by speculation and hype. If those companies didn't exist, everybody in the United States would be losing money in their 401ks. When Donald Trump stands up there and says, how's your 401k doing? He's talking about 6 companies. And those companies aren't doing well because of their revenues. They're doing well because people keep telling you and our markets that they're going to do well, and you're actually getting in at a good price now. But like Illusion said, this is the most expensive market in history. These companies are trading at 30, 40, 50, 60, 100x their revenue. There is no way, especially if they're paying off dividends, there is no way for them to recoup that. There's no way you're ever going to get the dividends for that investment. It has to crash. That's the only option. These markets have to crash eventually. You could invest in foreign markets. He's actually going to suggest that.
To take some responsibility and watch your tail. Now, let me just say, you will not receive the advice from investment and
Neely said, for debate, Steph is so stupid, it's almost impressive. Almost.
advisors
Sorry, debate, Steph.
to get your tail out of the market, ever. It is not good business for them to do that, and they will not ever say it to you.
Leslie said, thanks for making me smarter. Thank you, Leslie.
So from 1929 onwards, the Goldman Sachses of the world have never said to you, get out of the market, it's overpriced. Never. So they went through the crash of 29, they went through the crash of the Nifty 50 in 72, the crash of 2000 in the tech bubble. They never, ever say it because it's bad business. If you fight a bubble, you lose a lot of business. And because the uncertainty of the timing is so great, the client's patience is shorter than the uncertainty of the market. So sooner or later,
This is like, if you watch CNBC, go watch Kernan, and you watch that show. They do this crazy game all the time where they show up and they talk about how overvalued these stocks are. And then they celebrate stock market increases like it's a good thing. Because it hurts them too. Jim Cramer can't come in and say this type of shit. Jim Cramer can't be like, these markets are overvalued. They always have to tell you like there's growth, because people tune into CNBC for what reason? They want to get an edge. They want to figure out what their money's doing. Some people want to figure out like where they should put their money. Everybody in this country is incentivized to keep pumping money into this casino because there's so many people's like retirement that is tied to this. If you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s and you have a 401k or you have some sort of retirement account, it's hard to believe this. You definitely don't want to believe that this is going to happen. But this happens, like he said, every time. It's the same from 2008. It's the same from the dot-com bubble in the 90s. It's the same from the Great Depression. They'll never tell you to take your money out. They'll always tell you that it can be fixed. And while you're still putting your money in, the people in the know are taking their money out. And when it crashes, they're liquid and they buy everything up at low prices and then they ride it again. And that's how you get these transformational, generational wealth exchanges. That's what happened in COVID, right? A bunch of people lost their jobs in COVID or were temporarily let go, or the business folded. A lot of people liquidated their stock portfolios. And who was there to buy it up? People with liquidity. That's how you saw the greatest transfer of wealth in American history. Stock buybacks became massive. You know that in this country, companies can sell their stock and then they can buy that stock back. And oftentimes they're given like benefits for buying their own stock back. Why? Why do we give all these companies all of these benefits? They don't get taxed. And when the market crashes, if their company can still stay afloat, they'll be fine. They'll go and they'll use any liquidity they can, just like they did in 2008, to buy their own stock back. And then they'll pay out massive bonuses on the way back up. But you will get fucked. The casino never stops and always wins. Pulling your money out is how you lose, which is exactly what the casino wants you to believe, which is fucking stupid. There are tons of people who have timed the markets. You don't even have to time it just right. The bubble will burst. You can try and time it, but that's a crazy thing to say. You can't beat the casino if you don't go to the casino. True. Maybe don't try. You can throw your money right now in a high yield savings account. I know like Amex has one, PayPal has one. You got to be careful because some of these say they're FDIC insured and they're not. But you can find high yield savings accounts that'll give you between like 3.2 and 3.6% on your money. It just sits there. You're not going to make that in the markets. If your money's sitting in a high yield savings account and the market crashes, you keep your money. And yeah, it might crash, and if you hold on to those stocks, then you might be able to ride the wave back up. But what if your money's in the market and the companies that you had stock in go under? Well, now that money's gone, that stock is gone. You don't recover it. Your credit union's at 6%? Jesus Christ, Mama Ra. A credit union's giving 6%. I got to get a new credit union.
Advising people to be careful. The market will keep going and going and going like it did in Japan.
You're saying that the people that manage money on a global scale, they have no incentive to tell you that the market's about to collapse, because if they did, their clients would withdraw their money and they wouldn't get their fees for managing that money. So what they do is they keep telling you things are going to be fine and optimistic, but you have to kind of see through that yourself because they have an incentive structure which isn't aligned with yours necessarily. It may also be...
Chris said, I've been out of the country for a month, so this is my Antifa dues with penalties. Big W for Chris, sending $100 over on Venmo. W in the chat for Chris. And Tim, thank you for joining the Dollar Train. M said, what do I do about my 401k? I will take a penalty if I withdraw. I don't know. Look at your 401k. But you can read this stuff like... Let me just say this. If you think your 401k, like if you can live without your 401k, if you can take a hit like this, you may consider keeping your 401k in. I don't know what type of penalty you have for withdrawing from your 401k. I would look at that. But let's say that you have, just say $100,000 in your 401k, and let's say you're going to get hit with 3%. I would take a $3,000 hit. I don't know what the percent. I don't know what the percent is. So you can let me know. But if I would be willing to eat 3, 4, 5, 6. I'd be willing to eat 10%. I think you're going to eat more than that anyways. Again, you shouldn't take financial advice from me either, just like you shouldn't from these other people. But there are very intelligent people who have done this for decades that recognize when a bubble is coming. And the same people who are right every time there's a bubble are saying it now. It's 40% for a 401k. Some say it's 10%. I don't have a 401k, so I don't know. Can you put your 401k in? Again, ask a financial advisor. Maybe you can roll it into an annuity, some other, maybe you can roll it into some other account. I don't know. I would ask your financial advisor what your options are and then decide from there, like what penalties you're willing to take. I mean, you could look at, money market CDs. You could look at treasury bonds. Treasury bond rates are likely to go up. I think it's a good time to buy treasury bonds personally. And I think it'll be a good, after the crash, I think you'll see even a better time to buy treasury bonds. So there's that. But I don't know a ton about 401ks. At least like the financial hit you take from withdrawing early. But look into that.
The case that those very people who understand these economic bubbles and cycles, they themselves are adopting a different strategy with their own money. But at the same time, they're probably going to be telling you that everything's going to be great for a long time.
If you'll allow me to tell a story on this very topic.
Dragon said, RTPT, I have a structured settlement, but I need cash now. What should I do? Call JG Wentworth, 877 cash now.
In the 98, 99, the tech bubble, so-called, the run-up to the top, I got into a lot of debates with the bulls. I would say it's horribly overpriced. And
the bulls. What's a bull?
A bull is someone who is extremely optimistic about the stock market.
Okay.
And a bear.
It's also somebody with a big dick who fucks your wife.
Someone who is pessimistic or careful about the market. There were 1,200 people in the audience, and it was the annual bash of the Society of Analysts. And I asked, before my turn at the debate, please put your hands up if you consider yourself a full-time stock market expert. 400 hands went up.
Once again, this is Jeremy Grantham. He was he founded the asset management firm GMO. He is a British billionaire who, again, ethical billionaire. That's a tough thing, but he's given like 95% of his money away for philanthropic reasons, specifically to combat like climate change.
I had people counting, and I said, I've got two questions for you. One, if the market, which is currently 31 times earnings, was to go back to a more normal 17 times, would it guarantee?
Okay, what he's saying here, just so like, if you take the market now and you take the valuation of the market and the earnings in the market, so what all of these companies combined are earning, what their revenue is, the multiple that you are paying is 31x, meaning you take all of the revenue from these companies, times it by 31, and they're saying that's what the valuation of these companies is. That is massively overpriced. Like 13 is kind of high. I think 13's too high. In fact, I've been thinking a lot about this. Like we could, if we want to have a stock market and we want it to stop crashing like this, we need to tie the stock market and the inflation rates together. We should be looking at companies and valuing companies and saying, and this is the reality of what we've done. If you capped revenue at 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, something like that, a small number, you're not going to run into the same problems. You won't have explosive growth like we do. But the ebbs and flows won't be that scary. If you like SpaceX, for example, give them a 3x multiple. I think they made like 600 million or something like that. Times it by 3. Yeah, what's that? 1.8 billion. There you go. Your company's valued at 1.8 billion. Then everybody can invest. Every person in the country can invest. But then if it crashes, if it drops down like it crashes by 20%, you're not getting killed in the same way. But you're not going to have these giant ebbs and flows. The problem is now that we're allowing companies to be valued, and now just the entirety of the market is 31 times revenue. That's not good. That means on average, the value of your company needs to make they need to make that exact revenue for 31 years in order to make money. What companies make positive revenue like that for 31 years? Not that many. I'd say best bet is low debt companies only. They will survive the worst. Buy Berkshire Hathaway. Yeah, that's not a bad bet. Berkshire has basically pulled all their money out of these tech companies. Berkshire Hathaway does have a fund, and they buy low debt companies. I think that Warren Buffett has also said treasuries is a good place to put your money. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I just am a nerd, and I follow this shit. And so these are just my opinions, and you should definitely talk to other people and not just take my advice.
Guarantee a major bear market if it happens anytime in the next 10 years.
A major down market?
Yes, if it went from what was then 31 times earnings. Every dollar of earnings sold for 31 times in the market. And the more normal average was closer to 15, 16, 17. And I
Jacob, thanks for contributing to the Loop Fund for dad fucking.
Use 17. If it went down to 17 anytime in the next 10 years, would it guarantee a major bear market? All 400 of them said yes, it would. If it happened...
Here we go. A couple professionals here. Benny said you can roll over a 401k money over without getting a penalty, usually to an IRA, not a Roth IRA. Roth IRA means you pay taxes. Young Merv, the Cup Man, says, yes, I am a financial professional. Rollovers are ideal. Annuities have signing bonuses and guaranteed downside protection. There you go. What's a 401k? Yeah, join the club, Ack.
It would guarantee a major bear market. And then the second question, of course, was, and do you think it will happen?
The bond market is in bad shape, but it's in bad shape for everybody. And I think that the financial collapse of the United States could destroy everybody else. So I still think if you're looking at treasuries, you might want to look at buying from the United States. I still think that because of the size of our market, I still think we have a better chance at paying back treasury bonds.
And less than 1% thought it would not happen. 99% plus thought the market would go down, therefore guaranteeing a major bear market. And this was the engine room of all the Goldman Sachs and the Morgan Stanleys and the JP Morgans, all the great investment firms giving advice in America. The engine room who work for them, the guys...
Benny said, someone who works with finances, just call your 401k provider. If you don't know who that is, call your HR department. Thank you, Benny.
Doing the analysis, doing the work, all believed in data that guaranteed a major bear market, which happened. But the people who employed them or represented them from a marketing point of view were on the podium with me saying, oh, Jeremy, don't get excited. We'll muddle through quite nicely. It was a huge betrayal of trust, if you wanted to put it that way.
And do you think that's happening now?
Of course. Who are the people representing the great investment firms telling you to watch out? If you look at the data, you will see over time, it's a series of...
Like I said, I don't agree. I don't trust our debt being paid ever. That's true, but you can literally buy like 1 month treasury bonds. You can buy a 1 year treasury bond. You can buy a 3 year, 5 year, whatever. Like every investment has risk. But if you're buying short term treasury bonds, I think in the short term, we're going to be able to pay our debt. But yeah, Paying off debt long term hard. It's also complicated because we owe so much debt to ourselves. There's a lot of speculation about Scott Bessent that the reason that this administration doesn't seem very concerned about a 4% inflation rate is it actually allows us to pay back our debt. Like mathematically, our debt is cheaper when inflation is higher. So there is some wiggle room there. Like we can carry a certain amount of debt. I agree with you. I don't think we'll ever pay off all of our debt, but treasury bonds generally get repaid. If we start defaulting on treasury bonds, we're talking about like an entire global financial reset. And, maybe that could happen.
Great waves in evaluation.
Like this.
Like this. And we're not just in one, but in
Vote Republican, says Mario. Yeah, guys, vote for people who will spend more and give tax breaks to all these people who fucked our markets. That'll fix it.
Of the U.S. stock market, we're in the biggest one, arguably, that has ever occurred. The noise to be careful and watch out and get out of the market is not deafening. In fact, you will hear nothing. You never have. You never will. It is simply lousy business for a big firm. I sympathize.
All right. I appreciated that honesty there. Young Merv, the Cut Man, said 401k rollovers to annuities are ideal, featuring downside protection and signing bonuses. Tax-free rollovers to annuities are underrated. I don't know if you guys can see Young Merv, the Cut Man. Sounds like you work in the industry. Maybe you can find some customers here. But again, reach out to people a little more educated on this stuff than I am. But I am very bearish on this market. Even you got David Sachs, and we keep showing this. I actually am really enjoying this podcast, the All In podcast, not necessarily because I always agree with them, but I feel like it's the only place we get a real glimpse into the minds of the billionaire tech bros. Here was David Sachs just kind of confirming not only has China caught us, but China is surpassing us in every way. I do think that there is a real scenario where we come out of this with China as like the superpower. I think you could make a really, really credible argument that China is the superpower. We're just more willing to use our military.
Want to jump in there?
Sure. I mean, look.
In fact, I would say that I wouldn't even say that you could make a strong. I would make that claim that China economically is the new world superpower, and we're hanging on because we use our military a lot.
I think that China's been good at open source for a while here. There's nothing new about that, but there are a few things that are significant about GLM 5.2. So the first one is it is now, like you said, the best open weight model for coding, software engineering, and long context agent work. And you gave a couple of the sweep.
This is all nerd stuff about AI. I probably should have prefaced this. The conversation that you're jumping into right now is, it's gross. We've been saying for months, and anybody discussing AI critically has been saying this for months, that these LLM models, and probably more, like smarter people probably years before, but I'm not as smart as them, so I've been late. All of these language learning models, like they've been promising us the world and saying that they're going to do everything for us. And we keep going like, when? When is ChatGPT going to take jobs? When is ChatGPT going to be able to do everything they say it's going to do? When is it going to be able to trade stocks for us? When's it going to be able to do our job? It seems like they're pretty limited, and it's just like a much better version of a Google search. And now all these tech CEOs are coming out and they're like, whoa. Why are you guys all acting like AI is going to change the world? Like, it's your fault. It's your fault that these stocks are trading at 31x revenue. You guys, you invested in these companies. You drove up the prices. What did you think they were going to do? They're legitimately like deflecting the blame after years of hype. And now they're like, you fucking idiots believed us. What are you doing? And now they're scaling back and they're like, hey, look, these language learning models are cool, but they're not ever going to get you're never going to get a return on investment with the valuations where they are now. 50% of data center contracts have been canceled. They're not people aren't building them like they thought they were going to. Facebook is Facebook's might be fucked. Meta might actually be fucked. They're just not investing in AI infrastructure anymore. They're like, oh, fuck, they're not doing data centers. They thought they were going to give you a virtual world when they rebranded to Meta, and they thought like VR was the future, and they pushed all their money into VR, and it was a catastrophic mistake. And now they're looking at the cost of compute, and they're like, we don't even have money to build out AI infrastructure. So they're like, we're just going to kind of lay low. And like Zuckerberg saying, hey, guys, we're not going to fire all of you. We promise for a year. for 1 year, we're not going to fire all of you. But there's a chance we're going to have to fire all of you coming up. So all these tech companies are extremely bloated. And now you have these CEOs like, why did you guys believe what we were selling? Yeah. Yeah. Why did we believe what you were selling?
Bench scores. I mean, it was just a tick.
Microsoft just laid off 4,800 people. Goddamn.
Below Opus 4.8, and it was right up there with GPT 5.5. So if you compare this to, again, the state of the art.
Meta having any value after the VR debacle is crazy. Look, as soon as the boomers are gone, Meta might be fucked because once the boomers aren't loading up Facebook with memes, they might be in trouble.
The frontier models from Anthropic and OpenAI,
bring back parchment
it is right there with the previous model. But you have to remember now that the current model, Fable for Anthropic and 5.6 for OpenAI, is now in a little bit of a purgatory because of all the reasons we covered last week. Now, look, like I said last week, I ultimately blame Dario and the way he communicated and the way that he primed officials to be on a hair trigger with respect to these models. And when the government got a credible report about a jailbreak from, one of Anthropic's own most trusted partners, you're going to say, roll that back. But that is the situation we're in right now, is that Fable has been rolled back and GPT-5.
Yeah. So nobody was afraid, nobody apparently in our government was afraid that they were just going to destroy the economy and take everybody's jobs with no plan to replace them. But as soon as Fable got good enough to be jailbroken and then hack our government, they're like, oh, wait a minute, we better scale this back. And now OpenAI and Anthropic are like, fuck, that just killed our evaluations because now we have to limit this. The government's saying we have to limit all this stuff.
0.6 is trying to navigate these new approval hoops. So we now have a Chinese open weight model that is as good as the currently available models from OpenAI and Anthropic. And look, this is a point I've been making really since I joined.
Okay. If you're not following us, just real quick, what we're saying, OpenAI, Anthropic, they have to scale back. So now what he's saying is the available models to you, you can have the Chinese model, which is DeepSeek, or you can have OpenAI. And DeepSeek's like less than $1 billion in. I don't even know where they're at this point. It might not even be $100 million. I don't even know what they're in now. And OpenAI is like trillions of dollars in. And so you have this massive bloated AI from the United States, or if you have a non-bloated, streamlined version in China, obviously who won? Obviously, if you have two comparable models and one of you spent $100 million to develop and one of you spent $1 trillion to envelop, or I don't think it's trillions. I think that's the valuation. I think it's hundreds of billions of dollars to develop. Obviously, which one of those is better? The one that you spent maybe $100 million on. Why was China able to do that? Their monetary system is stronger. True. They also have incredible amounts of regulation in their system. And the government is invested in these companies. And so the government is going to be, at least Chinese government, is going to be a little more fiscally conservative or fiscally, I guess I should say responsible. I keep using conservative for responsible. Those are not synonyms. China is poised to absolutely dominate coming out of the tech bubble. They're going to take a hit too, but not like us. It's going to evaporate trillions and trillions of dollars of value out of our economy. And when it happens, it's going to happen overnight. And it's going to evaporate probably billions out of the Chinese economy. Obviously, they're going to be able to recover quicker than we do. They are so far ahead of us in every way. Again, if we weren't so willing to use our military, I think we wouldn't be having the discussion of like who's the superpower. Also, why is no one talking about Odysseus? Genuinely curious. I don't even know what Odysseus is. Who's Odysseus? Maybe I know what it is. I listen to all these people while I'm out like walking. It's a new movie? Oh, fuck. Is it really a movie? Or is it a company? Who said it? If you just had me look that up and it's a movie, that's going to make me mad.
During the administration is that we are in a very competitive situation.
PewDiePie's free open source MML. Okay. Is it good? Did you mean LLM instead of MML?
With China, I've been saying this from the beginning. Our whole AI strategy from the get-go was about winning this AI race, defining it as a race, as being globally competitive. And we cannot afford to do things unnecessarily. I
haven't messed with it. I'll mess with it. I was unaware of this. Okay, so it's a self-hosted open source AI workspace, not a model itself. It's described as a local first interface for chat, agents, research, model serving, and email with support for running local models and no telemetry by default. Interesting. I haven't messed with it.
Slow our companies down. I hope that by the...
David, can I ask, do you think Dario got exactly what he wanted? It seems to me there's some chance this has been a very calculated strategy.
Oh, that's such a good question. Do you think the billionaire got exactly what he wanted when he artificially inflated the value of his company by over-promising and severely under-delivering? Do you think he got exactly what he wanted? Of course he did. Of course he did. I love how they're sitting around like, oh, this is a debate. Do you think it's possible that the billionaire did something wrong here, that they manipulated the markets to try and win here? That's kind of what it feels like, is you had all of these tech CEOs dick measuring, and it turned into like who's going to be valued more. And so they just pumped it and pumped it and pumped it. And now they have these multi-trillion-dollar evaluations, and it's like, people are starting to do the math and realizing that these valuations are whack.
Evoke the U.S. government.
China will win because they're embracing renewable energy. Energy is the biggest win for them. We won't compete. We gave up and are far behind. Yeah, and we're like, you could make such a good argument that Donald Trump is a Chinese puppet. We started the show showing Chris Wright just like we're going to suspend renewable energy production, or not production, but subsidies so that we can have more affordable energy, which makes no fucking sense. Who would want that? China certainly saw that and they're like, fuck yeah, America. We love that shit. Keep doing that. Do you see Chinese cars in the U.S. in the next 5 years? Only if we have like a massive manufacturing collapse. They're so much better than our cars that it would decimate the electric car market here in the United States. Like GM, Ford, Tesla would be cooked almost overnight. So I think it could happen. Or if there was some sort of like partnership where you did some of the manufacturing here and we were able to get jobs out of it, maybe some sort of merger where like if BYD were to acquire Tesla or BYD were to acquire ownership stake in like Ford or GM potentially. But I don't think just like BYD on its own, that'd be shocking to me. I mean, Joe Biden's the one that slapped the 100% tariffs on Chinese EVs. We've been very protective of our electric vehicle market ever since we started producing them. So no, but maybe with some sort of I mean, depends on how bad the crash is too, right? Like we might be in a liquidity crisis where these companies have no choice but to take Chinese money. Still no update from Plattner. I keep checking. Thank you though.
Into doing what they just did, and this is what he wants. He has a regulatory moat now. He can keep his future models behind this, give it out to Glasswing, use it to distill it for themselves. Do you think this is what they wanted?
I think that on a certain level it is what they wanted because they've been advocating to have a federal regulator, basically a new agency. In fact, Dario posted a blog just a few weeks ago saying he wants an FAA for AI. They wanted a government approval process for AI models. And so
can you even buy one in China and have it imported? Yeah, with 100% tariff. If you try and import a BYD here, it's 100% tariff. So you're going to pay double the cost.
In a sense, they've gotten exactly what they wanted. Now, that being said, I don't think they're happy about the fact that Fable has been rolled back. So in a sense, you could say that Dario got hoisted on his own petard here, or it could be a FAFO situation. But look, my view on it is we should not reward Dario by giving him exactly what he's always craved, which is some sort of labyrinthine government approval process that does reward regulatory capture. So I hope that very soon now, I do think.
Do you see what they're talking about? The way that they talk about this stuff, like that it doesn't, include regulatory or reward regulatory capture. When they say this, these are the words of billionaires and fucking investors. But what they mean by that is that investments in these AI companies and these tech companies, part of what you're investing is whether or not you believe that they have captured the regulatory body. Who is the regulatory body of these tech companies? It's the United States government. Like, they're casually talking about factoring in to the stock price whether or not the tech company you're investing in has control over the organization that regulates them. And they're talking about it so openly. And they use this terminology because it seems like so ambiguous, and like a lot of people just brush that off. But that's legitimately what they're saying, is that the value of the reason that they're valuing SpaceX so high, the reason Anthropic was so, people were so down on Anthropic is because Anthropic was being used by the government, and then they were told the government no, and now the government's like, well, fuck you. And then OpenAI stepped in. They're like, hey, we'll do it. Yeah, we'll do it. And all of a sudden, OpenAI prices skyrocket. SpaceX prices skyrocket. Why? Because it's largely seen by investors that SpaceX has control over their own regulatory bodies. That everybody knows it. It's a well-known, not even secret, just a well-known fact in these tech companies that these massive tech companies own the regulatory bodies that are supposed to protect you and I. And they're just casually like factoring that into the pricing here.
I think that as long as Anthropic has resolved the jailbreak issue, then I do think they should be allowed to come back to market. And similarly for OpenAI, I don't think we should be delaying them unnecessarily. We do not have months to give away in this race. And let me just say one other thing, which again is
Richie, fuck you. You're kind of growing on me the last half of this live. I hated you at the beginning. You're kind of growing on me. I thought that was funny. China is so green energy. God damn it. I didn't want to like you, but I like you a little bit.
Something I've been saying for months, which is with respect to risks like cyber, it is undoubtedly a risk. But what is the response to that? The only thing you can do is go out and find all the vulnerabilities first yourself, the white hats. Have the white hats find all the vulnerabilities and do a big upgrade cycle, roll out the patches before they can be exploited. The reality is that if you just clamp down in a way that doesn't even allow these models to be used, the Chinese are going to have these capabilities imminently anyway. You know, they're ready.
Richie, we might be friends if you can get that capitalist dick out of your mouth. We might actually be friends. We'll see what we can do about that.
At Opus 4.8 level. And the founder of Z.AI, he said that before Q1, they'll have Fable level capability. I believe them because look, the Chinese have been, I'd say 9 months behind our models, plus or minus.
We need a bunch of fusion like real fast. There you go, Brown. Yeah, it would help.
3 months, depending on.
Yeah, I've got the Plattner story. This video has 40 seconds left, and I'll pull up the Plattner story.
Capability, but it's when they know there's been a breakthrough around something like cyber, they can deploy more resources against that particular problem and catch up faster.
Yeah,
so like I said, we're on a shot clock here. I've been saying for months that we're on a shot clock. We have to do smart things. We can't just slow everything down because
it's a meta. You metaphorically have capitalist dick in your mouth, not physically.
Because that will not slow down the Chinese. They're not under our jurisdiction. We have to basically get these tools in the hands of our cybersecurity industry. They're the force multiplier. They're the enabler. We have to basically go out and do this big upgrade cycle quickly because we only have a few months left.
They're 6 months behind on the model and they're 24 months behind on the silicon, yet they're only a few months.
Yeah, they're only a few months behind on the LM. And I don't even know if that's true. All right, here's the Plattner story. I haven't read it yet, so we're going to read this together. I'm just going to go ahead and say trigger warning. It sounds like we're talking about sexual assault here. So for all of the for everybody listening, we may get into some tough details here. So trigger warning for essay. Thank you, Greg Keys. A woman who dated Maine U.S. Senate candidate Graham Plattner says he forced her to have sex with him nearly 5 years ago despite her repeated objections, an allegation Plattner denies. The woman, a 41-year-old Maine resident named Jenry Rasico, detailed the alleged incident to Politico in 3 interviews over the past 2 weeks. Politico also spoke with a man Racicot. Does anybody know? Am I saying that right? Anybody know the name? Dated and man Racicot dated and confided in years after the alleged incident and reviewed documents, including emails between Racicot and her therapist and messages between Racicot and an acquaintance whom she warned against getting involved with Plattner years before he ran for office. I mean, that's the same evidence that we're accepting from E. Jean Carroll. That's not good. Am I saying that right? I don't want it. Rosico? It's pronounced Rosico? Okay, thank you. Rosa, sorry if I'm fucking that up. Rosico said she had an on and off relationship with Plattner, who is now the Democratic Senate nominee in Maine, for more than 2 years before he entered her rural Maine home uninvited one night in late 2021, deeply intoxicated, and forced himself on her while she repeatedly told him to stop. She said she cut off contact with him after telling him the encounter was not consensual. I remember him grabbing my pelvis and being really forceful of me, she said. I remember the specific moment where I thought to myself, like, this is no longer my choice. Plattner denies the allegations. These allegations are troubling, serious, and false. Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically untrue, he said in a statement. Rosico previously described reckless and unsettling behavior by Plattner to the New York Times. It says she didn't go public with a specific assault claim because she didn't want to be known as a rape victim. Rosico said she later felt compelled to go public about her experience because the reaction to the Times story was dominated by controversy about another woman, Lindsay Fifield, who alleged Plattner mistreated her and faced attacks because of her ties to the Republican Party. Contacted by Politico, Fifield stood by the allegations she made to the Times and declined to comment further. My part of the story was just a read over, Rosico said in an interview, and the story was Lindsay and the accusations of her being politically motivated. Rosico said she was torn over coming forward in part because she agrees with Plattner politically. One of the reasons I didn't come forward sooner, the huge moral conflict that I had between supporting his politics but not supporting him as a person. I just want the truth out there. I just want people to have a whole scope of who he is as a person. In a statement, the Plattner campaign reiterated his denial and accused critics of trying to drive him out of the race. These allegations are very serious, and Graham vigorously denies them. They are also coached and coordinated by out-of-state establishment operatives. You better have some fucking proof for that claim. Where's the... Yeah, let's see. For a year, opponents of this campaign have thrown everything they can at Graham, calling him a Nazi. He had a Nazi tattoo. You overcame that. A war criminal. I don't know those allegations. And a communist. I don't know about war criminal or communist, but I don't think he's a communist. None of it has been true, and this is no different. It is not a coincidence that this story comes a week before the ballot deadline, just as the previous false allegations came a week before the primary. Well, if it's a week before the ballot deadline, then they're giving you time. I think the real story here would be if it came a week after the ballot deadline or after the ballot deadline had hit. This is tough. There seems to be a lot of, there's enough information for me to say Plattner needs to step down. There's enough. He needs to step down. Somebody else needs to take his place. You are not, if Politico has the sources that they said, and that this had been communicated through other people, including a therapist and a previous boyfriend, and they have documentation that this has been this has been brought forward. Sorry, Plattner, you got to go. And look, if you're innocent, go to court, prove it, run again later. He's got to get out. It's the same as Swalwell. I'm going to hold the same standard for Swalwell. Get out now. He's got to quit today. Now, done. If you're innocent and you prove it later, run again. You'll be a hero. He's got to get out now. Graham began his campaign to fight for Maine, where everyone is treated with dignity and where Mainers are put first, and no amount of desperate smears will stop this movement from seeing that vision through. Well, then you got to step aside, bud. Plattner, an Oysterman and political newcomer, when he launched his Senate campaign last August, easily won the DNC primary. Last month, faced Susan Collins. His remarkable rise has been tainted by controversies, including offensive online comments, which look, we've had to eat a lot of shit on Graham Plattner, and I think people, I think people can grow out of online behavior. The allegations of past mistreatment of women, like they mentioned before, like it was a GOP operative. I think that scared a lot of people, and her refusal to kind of like acknowledge that. I think that story just kind of went away. He has not previously been accused of sexual assault. The Iraq and Afghanistan war veteran has linked some of his behavior to mental health struggles and alcohol abuse, but he says he's changed and has denied previous claims that he was abusive to women. Roscoe told Politico she connected with Plattner on the dating app Bumble in 2019 and had consensual relations with him prior to the night he allegedly assaulted her. That night in late 2021, she said she had exchanged text messages with him and told him not to come over, saying she wasn't in the mood for company. Later that evening, she said she realized when she heard a sound on the stairs that he had let himself into her house, which was unlocked. Plattner came up the stairs. Roscoe said to where she was on the couch. He got on top of her and kept grabbing her. She said while she repeatedly told him to stop and that she wasn't interested. Roscoe said she smelled alcohol on his breath and believed he was almost blackout drunk because Plattner ignored her protests and continued to grab her after knocking over an antique sewing kit, spilling small needles everywhere. I'd been telling him these words like, no, I don't, she recalled. And the look on his face and realizing what was happening, I just realized that like I'm in a situation where there's no consent here, she said. Roscoe said she tried to separate herself from Plattner by telling him she couldn't be in that room anymore, after which he followed her to her bedroom and had sex with her against her will. She said he also ejaculated inside of her despite her telling him not to, as she was not using birth control at the time. She went to clean herself up, she said, and when she returned, Plattner had fallen asleep. She contemplated waking him up to kick him out, but worried he could hurt someone driving in the state he was in. The following morning, she said Plattner tried to put his arm around her and she pushed him away. She said she asked him whether he remembered what had happened the previous night, according to Roscoe. Plattner said he didn't remember. Roscoe said she told him to leave and never contact her again. Roscoe said she waited several weeks until she got her period to ensure she wasn't pregnant, then sent Plattner a private message on Instagram saying that the encounter was not consensual and she did not want to hear from him ever again. Roscoe had no further contact with him after that. Roscoe said she later deleted all her texts and social media correspondence with Plattner as she tried to move on from the assault, and said she has not been able to recover the Instagram messages she sent him about the incident. I'm sure those are recoverable through Instagram. I assume they'll take this to court. In the weeks after the alleged assault, Roscoe said she considered going to the police but struggled with shock and confusion about what had happened to her and did not file a police report. Even as time passed, she said she felt uncomfortable potentially telling a police officer about such a personal experience and feared retaliation from Plattner. At first, she confided only in her therapist, who she continues to see. Roscoe showed Political recent emails with her therapist in which Roscoe explained she was talking to the media about her relationship with Plattner and the sexual assault rape using an SA-rape using an abbreviation for sexual assault. In the message, Roscoe was not ready to go public and was seeking help corroborating her account in conversations she was having with reporters on condition of anonymity. Her therapist responded that Roscoe shouldn't have to speak publicly about a traumatic incident in order to be believed without referencing details of any particular incident. The therapist, who Politico agreed not to name at her request, declined to comment when reached on Monday. Roscoe also shared details about the alleged assault to the man she dated after Plattner, who she began dating in 2022. The man, who was granted anonymity out of concern for his personal privacy, told Politico that Roscoe had told him in bits and pieces about a bad experience with Plattner before confiding the full details of what happened in 2023. His account of what Roscoe told him about the incident matched what Roscoe told Politico. Roscoe shared with Politico a series of private Facebook messages she exchanged with an acquaintance in 2023, about a year and a half after the alleged assault, and well before Plattner launched his political career, in which she cautioned the acquaintance against getting involved with Plattner. In the messages, Roscoe said she had ended up in a bad situation with him, describing Plattner as consensually careless and saying he doesn't listen to you when drunk. Reached by Politico, the acquaintances said she received the messages but declined to comment. Politico granted her anonymity on her request to protect her privacy in her main community. We've got messages here. What's his deal? Should I not fix up my friend, assuming he's single? He can be charming and funny, and he's a decently intelligent person. He's not all bad, but I ended up in a bad situation with him, and I will just very politely call him consensually careless at times. When drunk, plus PTSD. I knew about the PTSD. He lies also, forces himself on people. Politico also spoke with a friend Roscoe had told about the alleged assault last summer. Shortly after Plattner launched his campaign, the friend, to whom Politico granted anonymity due to fear of social and professional backlash, recalled Roscoe telling her about the incident, including that Plattner had been very drunk and wouldn't take no for an answer. Roscoe said she was contacted by the New York Times in the spring and shared off the record that Plattner had assaulted her. She told the Times that she had some positive memories of her relationship with Plattner, but thought he did not respect women and had cut off contact with him after an incident in 2021 when Plattner had come over drunk. But the Times article stated that Roscoe declined to elaborate about what had happened, only describing his behavior as reckless and unsettling. A spokesperson for the Times declined to comment. After the publication of the Times report, Roscoe connected with Cheyenne Hunt, a progressive Democratic lawyer who founded the nonprofit Reckoning Action, which launched earlier this year to fight misogyny. Hunt, who had endorsed Plattner last fall but renounced her support for him after the Times article, previously supported women who came forward with assault allegations against former Rep. Eric Swalwell, earlier this year, prompting him to drop out of the California gubernatorial primary and resign from Congress. NBC News previously reported that Hunt was working with multiple women who had past relationships with Plattner. Hunt connected Politico with Roscoe. Reckoning Action exists to confront misogyny in America in American life, in all forms and manifestations, including in bad actors being elected to positions of power. We became aware of allegations before ever being connected with Jenny and have been in contact with multiple women with really troubling allegations, and it just became clear that this is someone who's not fit to hold public office. Oh, Jesus. After the Times report last month, Plattner has said that the allegations of physical misconduct were simply not true, and his allies seized on Fitfield's conservative political affiliations to suggest that her allegations against him in the Times article were motivated by politics. On MS Now last month, the New York Times report, Plattner denied claims that he had physically mistreated women. I'm trying to remember that New York Times article. I think we covered it. Am I remembering correctly that most of the claims in that were like unwanted sexual advances? Is that what it was? Mostly they made women feel uncomfortable. Yeah, something like that, right? Anything alleging physicality, anything alleging that I knew what my tattoo was, these are the statements of somebody who's politically motivated, he told MS Now, alluding to unrelated allegations about a tattoo resembling a Nazi symbol. Plattner had the tattoo resembling a Nazi symbol covered up last fall and said he had not known what the symbol meant. Roscoe said she was bothered by Plattner's public denial that he'd been physical towards women. I know that he is capable of putting his hands on women, so I don't believe that to be the truth. Yeah, like the standard has to be don't put your hands on women. That has to be the standard. That's gross. Yeah, we're not doing that, Sensei. Funny how she only showed up when Plattner was doing well. No, we're not doing that shit. We're not gonna go after women. Like when else? It doesn't. First of all, that's not correct. Did you listen to this article? She talked to her therapist. She talked to an ex-boyfriend. That these text messages right here took place in 2023, before he was even political. So what was she supposed to, like, what would she have done? She can go to, if she went to Politico and was like, I have this story about Graham Plattner, they would have said, who's Graham Plattner? This is when, and then you have the explanation here that she was one of the people. She's been reaching out to a law firm, and she waited a couple of weeks until this other allegation went by because it was being dismissed as a Republican operative. Admittedly, like the Republican operative declined to comment. We didn't have a ton of details there. Well, yeah, we're definitely not doing that here. And please look, if you want to go on and do that, I saw you say like now do Susan Collins. If you're going to be an apologist for people who put hands on women, like go. You don't know. We know what we know, and what we know is this is a pretty compelling story, and she has receipts. CBS reported in June that his wife told his campaign about the texts. These texts? There's a video. It says he's going to drop. Let's see. Did he put out a statement? Let's see. Is it from 2 minutes ago? Let's see.
I wanted to directly address the troubling, serious, and false allegations against me. Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically false. Over the last 10 months, I have been deeply humbled by the faith Mainers have put in me. You have welcomed me into your homes.
I mean, this is just manipulation. It's just manipulation at this point. Like, if you want to deny the allegations, fine. But now the rest of this is manipulation.
Behavior is categorically false. Over the last 10 months, I have been deeply humbled by the faith.
What's your question, Red X Man? Sorry, I have a legit question. Devil's advocate, kind of. At what point after people have changed their behavior are things accepted as bad past decisions and not representative of who they are today? If you put your hands on a woman, if you put your hands on a woman or children, and you are a man, you will never have my trust. You will never have my respect. That's my answer. I'm a dad, and I've got a daughter. If there's people in my daughter's life who have put their hands on women or children, that person will never be trusted around my daughter, ever. It's a really fucking easy thing to do, to go through your life and not abuse somebody. Really fucking easy. There is no coming back from that, in my opinion. Now, can you be welcome? Can you have a job? Sure. Do you have the right to earn a living? Sure. Do you should you do the punishment for the crime? Sure. Yeah, all of that. Do I think people can change? Yes. But you're never getting my trust. I would never vote for somebody. I would never put my name next to somebody who has abused somebody in that way. Like we were all here. We were all here when there's been multiple times of like TikTok creators who did this stuff. I know people who have been abused, and people I love dearly. People, some of the closest people in my life have faced abuse, and it affects them every day, every fucking day. It's not shoplifting. It's not, you didn't forget to pay your taxes. In my personal opinion, that is unforgivable. You will not be my friend. You will not be my acquaintance. My name will be not be seen next to yours. I will not make your life easy. I will not go out of my way to grant that type of forgiveness. No. When you abuse people like that. And I should stop saying women and children, for the record. I actually should stop saying that. If you do the same thing to men, if you sexually assault somebody, you don't come back in my eyes. There is no comeback. I wouldn't work with you. I wouldn't hire you. I wouldn't be your friend. I would want no association with you forever. That is the price that you pay when you sexually abuse somebody. And if other people want to hold a different standard, that is fine for you. But that's the price that you pay. And as somebody who has sat here and taken this exact level of information and believed E. Jean Carroll, I'm not about to then flip and be like, oh, well, I like Plattner's ideas. I like that Plattner's advocating to tax the billionaires and that we should all have universal health care. So I'm not going to use the exact same evidence or the same standard of evidence and give him a pass. No fucking way. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Don't be seen ever again. Go Go fish. You work for yourself. You're an oyster fisherman. Go deal with go deal with either the lawsuits or the criminal charges and go live your life. We don't need to ever see Graham Plattner again. But this shit pisses me off. I fucking hate that. This shit pisses me off more than you. And there are aspects of my life where like this is hitting pretty close to home for me right now. And you know, you that see me daily, you know that this is probably a little different for me, but yeah, this shit hits close to home, and there is no coming back from this. He's got to go, fuck off forever. You don't get to hold office ever, 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 ever. If you beat the charges and you can prove that these are lies, you can come back. But nah, you got to go, dude. You're entitled to a defense. You're entitled to be innocent until proven guilty in the courts. But as an elected representative, as somebody who represents my beliefs, like not as a Democrat, but as a, like I've put my, like, this sucks. So how many of us have put our name next to Graham Plattner? How many hours have we spent collectively playing Graham Plattner videos, saying like, wow, what a great fucking candidate. Wow, he's going to beat Susan Collins. Just last week we were talking about how he's going to beat Susan Collins and how great this is going to be for us. I feel deceived. I feel lied to. I feel sick. Fuck him. Yeah, this is the standard that we're going to set. I'm not going to hold this standard, and I hope you guys don't too. I'm not reading the chat too much, but I hope that you guys aren't holding a different standard for Graham Plattner than you did for Donald Trump or Matt Gaetz. I hope that we hold that same standard here. We can let him gaslight us some more.
Manners have put in me.
Well, he won't beat Susan Collins now, that's for sure.
You have welcomed me into your homes, into your places of work, into your restaurants, into your houses of worship. You have shown that a different kind of politics, one that puts the interests of people over corporations, is not just possible, but is inevitable. This movement we have built, the largest volunteer base in the history of Maine politics, the hundreds of thousands of grassroots donors, and the
I'll respond to it, said Red X Man. Like I said, this is hitting close. I've seen plenty of good men struggle to get their life together because of alcoholism. After returning from war, some of them got it together. Some of them deleted themselves. Some are in prison. Yeah, great. He should get his life together. Maybe he has got his life together. If you sexually assault somebody, you don't get to hold office. I don't think that's like a hard line. And I get to hold that standard for me in my life too. If you've sexually assaulted somebody, if you've physically abused a child, whether sexually or physically, like you don't get to be in my life. I don't hold you in high regard. I don't trust you. I don't need anything from you. You can go live your life. You can go do your thing, but not, like, absolutely fucking not. Am I going to attach my name to Graham fucking Plattner? Absolutely not. You don't get to benefit from this, especially with everything that he said, especially the way that he's gone after Donald Trump. Like, how many times has he called Donald Trump like a sex pest? Donald Trump is a sex pest. How does it look if then he keeps his support after all that? Melanie, I see that. Did you hear that after a phone call from Trump, FIFA overturned the one-match suspension on U.S. striker Fuller and Balogun? Yes, we covered that right at the beginning. So sorry, I missed that one. Continue.
Supporters across the ideological spectrum, we were united.
You know what you're doing is trying to make my statement fit your position for dismissal. Alcoholism is a disease and an affliction, and people do wild shit when they are on it, so it's a variable to account. I'm accounting for the alcoholism. You still don't get to be forgiven for that. Alcoholism is a disease. I recognize it as a disease. Like, I'm just telling you, like, this is very close to a situation I've been dealing with for the last year. I'm not going to talk about it. You guys know that from time to time, I've had to go to court. From time to time, I've had to step away in the middle of these lives. From time to time, I just can't make it. Like, I've been down. Like, this is what I've been dealing with for the last while. I have no tolerance. None. I have a daughter. I have women in my life that I love who have been abused. No, there's no tolerance here. I'm not saying Graham Plattner gets the death penalty. I'm saying he doesn't get support from me. I'm saying he doesn't get to represent other people. Alcoholism's a disease. He'll fight it the rest of it. And I don't know if he's an alcoholic or not, for the record. If he is an alcoholic, and he'll fight it the rest of his life. PTSD is something that you need treatment for. These are real diseases. These are real conditions. But good Lord, am I tired of men who brush off the horrific things that they do to other people and blame it on alcohol, or blame it on I can't control myself, or blame it on, oh, they made me mad, so I had to do this. And frankly, like, I also am equally, not, I guess, yeah, in my life, equally frustrated by women who stand by these men and say, oh, it was a one-time thing, or oh, it was actually the victim that was the problem. Oh, they just trigger them. Like, this is what I've been dealing with in my own personal life. That's as far as I'll take it. But like, this is triggering me. Like, I'm trying to stay as calm as I possibly fucking can right now. But like, fuck Graham Plattner. We're not going to be, at least on this show, we're not going to be those type of people. Well, let's wait and see. No, that's pretty good evidence. I've seen plenty. I've seen plenty that says you got to go. And if you can prove all this shit's false, you can come back and run. But until you can, like, we don't want to see any more Graham Plattner.
A love of Maine, a belief that our politics must change, and a focus on defeating Susan Collins. So, regardless of the inaccuracy of the reporting, but mindful of the political reality it will inflict, we are taking the time to reflect on the best path forward for the state that I love, the people that I love, the movement I belong to, and the goal of defeating Susan Collins. Those were the goals when we launched this campaign.
Respectfully, as much as I hate what Susan Collins has done, and as much as I think she's a detriment to our country, I'll take Susan Collins over any rapist. Can't stand Susan Collins. If for some reason that meant Graham Plattner, like whoever replaces Plattner, if they're going to lose to Susan Collins, I prefer that outcome. And Graham Plattner politically, there's almost no breathing room between my positions and Graham Plattner's positions politically. I will take a Republican, like a MAGA Republican, which I don't think Susan Collins is. Like, there's a little bit of daylight between her and MAGA, not much. I'll take Susan Collins over a rapist all day, every day. It's crazy that we don't have that line. Our president is an adjudicated sexual abuser. I want to be really careful because TikTok can take me down, but adjudicated sexual abuser. And it makes me sick every fucking day. The people that I know and respect still support that man. I'm not going to be part of that.
And they remain my goals today. On June 9th.
Prove this allegation? Well, look, prove the allegation. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. How? How do you expect me to prove that allegation, Olivia? We have text messages before he was ever famous of her sharing her story with her therapist. What else do you need? Do you need a videotape? This is how men keep getting away with it. Gross. You know what almost never happens? Men assault women where there's a video. And even if there's a video, like, oh, it proved that she wasn't consenting. There's no end to this. What are you doing? What are you doing standing up for fucking predators? Gross.
154,058 Mainers, the most in primary history, voted to reject a broken politics beholden to Washington and the donor class.
Yeah, and then you fucked us. Anybody could have run on Graham Plattner's ideas. You didn't invent these ideas. You weren't the first one with these ideas. Anybody could have run on this platform. People of Maine chose you. Like, a lot of us put our name next to yours. I feel sick. I feel absolutely sick knowing the amount of time I spent defending this fucking piece of shit. That sucks.
They voted for hope, for change, to take back our economy, to take back our power, and to take back our Senate seat. Throughout it all, you never turned your back on me, and I will not turn my back on you now. Every one of you.
Please do. Please do. Please leave. Nobody needs you as a leader. Just go. Put out a letter. We don't even need to hear your goddamn words. Yeah, I'm with you, Ivory. This whole thing is coercive. This is disgusting. Shut the fuck up. Stop playing to people's fucking emotions right now. Oh, I did this for you. Well, then leave. Go. If you're innocent, go prove it. But go. We don't need to hear any of this shit from you. There's better there's better representatives. Somebody else can run on your platform. And for the record, who fucking cares? Put anybody up there. Preferably a woman. Preferably somebody we don't have to worry about their past. Put somebody in your place. Who did he run against? Who was the DNC primary against? I forget her name. Janet Mills. Oh, she's the governor. But go ahead and give us Janet Mills or David Costello. Maybe not. No, Janet Mills. That's fine. She's establishment. I'll take an establishment Democrat over Graham Plattner. I don't know a goddamn thing about David Costello. Just give me Janet Mills. Janet Mills, do the right thing. Run on this same platform. Do what's best for Mainers. She's the governor right now. She's too. She can leave after. Like, you know who was older than her? What is her? Susan Collins. Yeah, just put her in. You got a week. Drop out now. Go away. We don't need to hear any more of your explaining. Go to court. We don't. Not even explaining. Like, explaining would be one thing, but this shit now where he's like, I was there for you. I'm just gonna recall back to like, yeah, just, you know who I'm talking about. There was a prominent TikTok creator who was taken down, and this gaslighting is very reminiscent of that. You know who I am. Remember, you trusted me. Let me pull out some other people who trusted me. Look at all the good things that I did. And we don't fucking care about the good things you did when you did this. And by the way, the good things you did were just share ideas that weren't yours. Somebody else can share those. Dolphin said, as a recovering addict with 13 years clean under my belt, I'll tell you this, alcoholism just amplifies who you already are. Just a fact, period. I don't know if that's a fact or not, but I can tell you, I've been very drunk. I've been very high. I don't turn violent. And there are some concerns you have there when somebody has PTSD. People who are alcoholics, that's alarming. Did I see older millennial? No, I never see older millennial. Or are you talking about his arrest? I did see that.
You deserves to see that vision come to fruition and see Susan Collins defeated. And we will use every tool at our disposal to do so. As Maine goes, so goes the nation. As always, thank you.
Later, bitch. You said, older millennial went to Israel. That's not surprising. All right, let me check messages, and then we'll get out of here. Let me make sure I got everything. I got that from Dolphin. Sorry, guys. Hopefully you guys are doing okay. That sucks. That really, really fucking sucks. He was a plant all along. I don't know. Maybe I rarely think that that's the case. I just think people think that they're going to get away with shit. Jen, did I miss any comments?
No, but maybe take off the background screen.
Oh, for great. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Thank you. Somebody's going to be like, look at RTP today, pushing Graham Plattner. Sucks, but it's not surprising. White male in America. I'm going to read some of you guys' comments while we're going here. His intent was to get laid, and she said no. His intent was to ignore her boundaries. Who's been your standout today? No, I'm not doing that right now, Richie. I get what you're saying, but not right now. I'm not in the mood for that. He's not a plant. He just has the confidence of a man who just takes what he wants. True. It's getting old having people disappoint like that. Power is corrupting. It certainly is. In that same breath, this is also not a guy that was sober going around assaulting women, which has a variable on the punishment for his actions. In the same breath, this is also not a guy that was sober going around assaulting women. Well, maybe not. I don't know. But the same could be said though. Like this is exactly why like Pete Hegseth shouldn't be Secretary of Defense. Pete Hegseth did this exact same thing multiple times. And again, like I don't want to lose elections. I don't want Republicans winning elections. But I'd rather lose elections with integrity than put up people like Pete Hegseth. I'd rather lose in Maine than have to defend Graham Plattner. At least this is when we can show the difference between the left and right. When the left fucks up, they get ousted. When the right does, they get promoted. Yeah, I mean, he's toast. Like, there's no shot he can continue his campaign. And I wish he would do that. Like, that's even, that part of it is even like adds to the grossness of, oh, we're going to get together as a team. We're going to discuss this. You know the answer. The answer is step away. And the step away, like, it should have been like, these allegations are very serious. I'm stepping away. I will, the Democratic Party needs to decide what they're going to do with this position. I'm stepping aside. You will no longer hear from me. That's all we needed to hear from him. I'm out. An apology if you wanted, fine. We didn't need to hear anything else from him. We can show the difference between left and right while we're sitting in a concentration camp. They don't believe they're doing anything wrong. Yeah, I'm with you. They feel entitled to women's bodies. Yeah. I'm okay with Maine staying red if this is the name that stays on the ballot. I'm with you, Ari. Same. It's fine. If it costs the Senate, costs the Senate. I'd much rather lose the Senate than have somebody like that in office. Swalwell's still in office. Dems didn't do shit. No, he's resigned. Swalwell resigned, bud. What are you talking about? He stepped down from the governor's race and he resigned. I see MAGA. I don't see MAGA. MAGA would be defending Plattner. MAGA is probably like the people in here defending Plattner are probably actually MAGA. I can't believe you guys are getting mad at me. Some of you are getting mad at me. What are you mad at? Swallow left April 4th. Thank you, Amy Lynn. Yeah, that's when he resigned, right? Democrats suck. Yeah, sure, bud. Literally everything that Graham Plattner did, once again, Donald Trump did. And Donald Trump was actually found civilly liable in a court. You guys still won't believe that. So weird. You guys are kind of gross. Grape is entry-level MAGA. It certainly isn't disqualifying. So I agree. I don't want to shit on MAGA the rest of the day. Like, I think we need to hold our own standards and we'll move on from that. I don't think I missed any other ones. Let me check with Jen's real quick. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We were damn close on knocking out that gift goal. I appreciate you guys. Sorry for the time away last week. We're back to normal. Oh, there was Felicia said, as a 92%, I tried to warn all of you since the beginning and even said write in Mills at the primary. I don't remember that, but I will believe that you said that and you turned out to be right. And there's generally people who are right about this. I know that there were some voices. Once we drop Plattner, he's going to the right 100%. They can have him. Great. They can have Graham Plattner. That's terrific. Okay, just a reminder tonight in the Discord, free for everybody, not just members. We'll be watching the U.S. men's national team. That's at 5 Pacific Standard Time. That'll be, if you go to the Discord, Jen will create an event for that, so you can look for that over on the left. If you scroll down to the, what does it say, like the voice channels, there'll be it says RTP World Cup stage. You can join that before. I'll try and get there a little before 5 o'clock, and we'll have the game on so you guys can watch it there and you can chat with everybody that's watching the game. So good luck to the United States men's national team tonight. What a sobering finish today. Other than that, guys, I will see you tomorrow morning and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time, right here, wherever you were watching today. And until I see you guys tomorrow, go outside and touch grass. If you can't touch grass, smoke grass. If you can't touch grass or smoke grass, good luck to you. Reach down, find your bootstraps, pull yourself up by those bootstraps, and then put those boots on the ground. But before you, or on the streets, before you take those boots to the streets, though, look in the mirror, say something nice about yourself, and make sure on your way out that you get plenty of water and you're staying hydrated. Be nice to those around you. Say something nice to your loved ones as well. But most importantly, love yourselves. And until I see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, take care of yourselves, stay cute and cool, and have a great, great summer.